Bet365. When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be located in New York. Well, the Giants finally pulled the plug on defensive coordinator Shane Bowen after they blew their fifth double-digit lead of the season yesterday in Detroit, falling to the Lions in overtime at 34-27. Bowen is reportedly done, with outside linebackers coach Charlie Bullen taking over on an interim basis. Giants are 2-10 now, first team officially eliminated from postseason contention. Meantime, the Jets clinched their 10th consecutive losing season as they were beaten by the Ravens down in Baltimore 23-10 as they fall to 2-9 on the year. Brandon Nimmo waives his no-trade clause to accept the deal that sends him to the Texas Rangers in exchange for veteran second baseman Marcus Semien coming back to New York to join the Mets. Tonight, wrapping up NFL Week 12 will be the Panthers at the 49ers. You've got Westwood One's coverage on WFAN AM. Knicks and Nets on the FM dial with coverage beginning at 7:20. Nets lost to the Raptors Sunday 119-109. Rutgers basketball on WFAN AM this afternoon. Coverage at 12:45 as the Scarlet Knights take on Tennessee in the Player Era Festival from Las Vegas. The Islanders beat the Seattle Kraken in a shootout yesterday, 1-0 at UBS Arena. Tonight, Rangers host the Blues at Madison Square Garden off a winless road trip, and the Devils are home for the Red Wings. Fan weather sponsored by Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting you back to being you. Total Orthopedics is Long Island's premier orthopedic practice. From simple sprains and broken bones to complex sports injuries, they are the experts at getting you back to being you. Total Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Visit TotalOrthoExpress.com today. 47 degrees, sunny skies in Central Park. And with sports flashes at the top of the hour, I'm Chris Lopresti.
And then there was one. Joe Shane's last man standing now after everybody got their piece of the meat with Shane Bowen getting fired. Yeah, we knew that this was long overdue. What's the difference?
It's none.
The 2-10.
There really is none.
You know what I could feel, BT? You know what I feel with the Giants? I feel it. They're close. They're really close. I give you like a caller said last week, the Giants they're just getting close here. All right, so Bowen got fired. There you have it. Everybody happy now? We expect things to change here. He needed to be fired. Does it really matter if it happens now? If it happens at the end of the year, Shane Bowen out as Giants defensive coordinator.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it's something we have to obviously talk about here, and it's like bad bullpens in baseball. The inability to hold leads in football. Like we're kind of used to losing around here, but losing the manner in which the Giants have lost this year is just about as maddening and as perplexing and as infuriating as it gets. It's just, and again, I've said this a million times, not trying to sound insensitive, but the fact that Shane Bowen was let in the building a month ago it just didn't add up to me. I don't know why it's now. I know what they said, that Kafka didn't really have great familiarity with the defensive staff. He wanted to get in the building, get a sense of what was what, and then if he did obviously want to make a move, he would have a better sense who to elevate. So that's fine, all the logistics and dotting the I's, but what an awful chapter in Giants football.
But think about it this way. Did anybody really think, and I know everybody was yelling for Bowen to be fired for weeks, probably since, week 2. So
now the Cowboys came in. I mean, maybe last year a little bit. Last year, Sal.
Fair enough.
If you think about it.
We know everybody wanted Bowen out. Did anybody really think that he was going to be the defensive coordinator start next year?
Not a person.
Okay,
not a person.
So what's the difference? What? You think it gives you a better chance to beat the Patriots on Monday Night Football? And even to that, I would say, so what? So who cares? I mean, outside of Kafka and evaluating him, and for the record, I think Kafka's done a nice job so far in these first 2 games. I think he's got potential to be a head coach somewhere. I still wouldn't make it here just because I think everybody needs to go. But now the bullseye is going to be, to me, clearly on Joe Shane, and that's still something that's TBD. The initial release from Mara when they fired Dable weeks ago was making it sound like Shane's going to lead the head coaching search, and he's going to be here beyond next year. Then there were conflicting reports saying not so fast. So maybe that's the last thing to evaluate here. Outside of the one thing I want to see is Kafka with Dart, not Kafka with Jameis Winston. But even then, okay, Bowen got fired. Big deal. He was not going to be here beyond next year. This move does not impact the Giants any way, shape, or form because they were firing him anyway at the end of the year, and the remaining 5 games doesn't mean squat.
This is for the fans. I mean, that's really what it is, because there's when this happens repeatedly, and that's why I gave you the example of bullpens. Think Armando Benitez, those situations where you just can't have it it's unacceptable as a fan to lose in certain ways. I mean, it's generally unacceptable to lose all the time anyway, but there's certain styles, if you will, of losing that are just untenable. And to me, like the Giants, you're right. I mean, he was going to be back next year no matter what. If they had a different DC this year, do they choke away 5 fourth-quarter leads? Maybe not. Maybe there's a little bit of a shift in how he deploys the players that he's got. It doesn't matter. All right, you can't get the wins back. You can't unpack the losses. But this is a move, as sad as it is, it's not going to really change anything. This is really, and we've heard this expression quite a bit, this is just throwing a little meat to the fans, a little meat to the masses. That's truly what I believe that's it. Because this will do nothing for the season. This will do nothing for the roster. This is just to placate distraught, miserable, angry fans, and I get why they feel that way.
You don't think it's Kafka trying to just forget what happened prior and him looking at his 7 games as okay, I'm going to be the head coach of this team for the next 7 games, feel it out for the first 2. I can't have this anymore with Bowen. We're moving on from him. Now let me try to clean things up for the final 5. If the Giants organization was trying to give the fans a bone, throw them a bone here, they would have fired Bowen weeks ago. So to me, maybe it was a Kafka thing and just saying, hey, we got to move on. We can't have this continuing here with our offense doing their job. I mean, the offense scoring 27 points with Jameis Winston is a pretty good thing.
Every week the offense shows up. I mean, it really is amazing. And I heard people talking about this. Where was it last night? Somewhere, maybe it wasn't ESPN. Either way, it was some former players talking about the Giants. And, obviously our focus on Joe Shane. And, of course, before that, when Dable finally got fired, and, of course, now the DC is gone. I didn't really... And I'm still not going to subscribe to this because I do think that Joe Shane should be gone. But when they have beaten a couple of good teams and they have come out and they've been highly competitive against a couple of teams that have talent. So I'm asking the question, really, forget about the DC for a moment, even though that's the story today. Bigger picture. Is the Giants' talent actually better than we think? I mean, we keep sitting here saying, oh, Joe Shane hasn't done anything. But there is something, to what extent, I don't know, we could flush through it, but there's something to be said for coming out and from the opening kick and really for 85% of almost every single game being in a position to look pretty good teams in the eyes and not get blown out. We know a bad team. Right. When we see a bad team, you look up, it's 20-3. You can't get a first down. Yeah, you're in the air or on the ground, 13 penalties, fumbles. Like, the Giants have actually looked fairly sharp for a while.
But BT, they're 2-10.
They're
the first team eliminated again.
I know they are. I'm not making a case for their talent to be overflowing. I'm just saying, are we being fully fair in the evaluation of whatever talent, not the record, the talent, because that's what goes to Shane.
I think so. I think they stink. I think everybody there stinks. I don't think they know how to win football games. So
I mean,
and part of what you're saying is why Joe Shane is still here, and yet they keep losing games. So they got rid of the head coach saying he's not coaching our talent up to the level that it needs to be, and yet they continue to lose football games. Okay. And they continue to lose football games in a similar fashion. So I don't want to hear it. Now, I'm not disagreeing that it's better than what we saw. Yeah, but you're talking about comparing them to the Jets or Giants, who were the worst teams in football and non-competitive and couldn't score any points. So there's a big gap in between a good football team and where the Giants were to where they are now. I think that they're not the worst team in the league as far as can't even watch them. They have no talent. They can't move the football. Now they're actually scoring some points, which makes it okay. Now they're just on par with the other bad teams in the league, but they continue to find ways to lose. The record is what it is. Even if you give them 2 more games, as we talked about, that's still nowhere. 4-8 is not. That's an awful record.
I get it. I'm not even saying that I'm not a little bit with you. I'm more with you than not. Right. I'm just throwing the conversation out there because that is the last remaining issue for the New York Giants. Okay. See what happened yesterday, and this was even if they would have won, it would have been in a lot of ways empty. Now I'm sure some Giant fans would have really enjoyed it. I'm sure some Giants fans would have been like, I don't want to win because that means the GM might come back. That's going to compromise draft picks. All those things that fans juggle during bad seasons where you're looking at the end result here. But if they would have won, all right, it was fun. Jameis made some sick plays, and Kafka was aggressive. But Kafka's probably not the coach next year. Winston's not the starting quarterback. So to me, those are the most hollow, empty wins. All I'm saying is, and I'm not even, and I would if I felt it, I'm not even pushing back that much. All I'm saying is, when you beat a couple of good teams and you come out in the first quarter and the second quarter and the third quarter, you're staring eye to eye. A lot of times on the road as well with good teams or really good teams or slightly below. Like, I don't. They've confused me this year is really what I'm saying. Like, I can't prove this. If they had whatever coach we think they're going to have next year. If McCarthy's coaching, I don't think they're 2-8, I don't think that they are. If they had a DC who was better than, this stiff who was finally showing the door, I don't think they're 2-9. I just don't. Not saying they're 7-2. I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs. This team's talent is at least a little better than I thought. That's all I'm saying.
But I don't know where you're saying that based off
because they compete every week. A lot of bad teams don't.
Congratulations. I think yesterday was more about the Lions than it was about the Giants. Now, I'm not trying to take away from the Giants, but I don't think the Lions are as good as I thought that they were.
Well, they're definitely not.
Coming off a loss, I thought the Lions were at home. I thought the Lions were going to pace the Giants, and they clearly did not. And they're lucky, obviously, to win that football game. But is their talent the worst in the league? No. But is it middle of the pack? I don't even think it's middle of the pack. And if it is, then there's no reason that they should be 2-10. So their record is what it is. You can't just say, well, outside of the record. A lot of the reason why the defense sucks is because of the players they have, not just the defensive scheme. I don't think this is all on the defensive coordinator, just like it wasn't all on the head coach. They fired the head coach. Now they fired the D coordinator. We're going to see what's going to happen. I'll save you the suspense. They're going to lose more football games because that's what the New York Giants have done, lose more football games. So you could say that it's not as bad as it once was, which I agree with, but it's nowhere near good enough in year 4 of a regime. Find me the guys who have been here for 4 years or been anywhere for 4 years, the general managers, that have a record that 2-10 back-to-back years, first team out in year 3 and 4. That's unacceptably bad. Unacceptable. They've gotten worse. Dave Gettleman, the best players were here by Gettleman. And the best year that they had was the first year. So I'm not disagreeing that it's better than what the record says and better than what it was where they could not move the football.
They couldn't move it. But they couldn't get a first down if you spotted them 8 yards.
But defensively, they were holding themselves in games too. So, the Giants lost a bunch of close games last year. So
not like this. And not against good teams.
It's just different. It's different because they're scoring more points, so it feels different.
Well, true. Think about the two issues that have really plagued this team outside of losing, for the better part of a decade. The offense was not modern. It was a pop gun offense, and the O-line was just non-functional. Giants O-line suddenly looks okay. Now, again, a lot of that's Andrew Thomas, who was not drafted by Joe Schoen. And by no means am I stumping here for Joe Schoen to get back. I'm just trying to, because I'm not doing an hour on a defensive coordinator who should have been gone a month ago. Who wants to hear that? So to me, I look macro. I kind of take that aerial snapshot. And I say, okay, if I own the Giants, would I move on from Schoen? I would. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I've said that for months now. So I guess in a lot of ways, it's more about maybe the future being a little more bright with the right hires and with a tweak here and a tweak there. Like, guys, if there's one thing that we know bad, inept football. Now, this has been stunningly nuts how they flush these leads away. Bad and inept, not to the extent that we've seen.
BT and Sal, the fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Matt starts us off in Westchester. What's up, Matty?
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good. I was just calling because, BT, I totally agree with you, and I think the Giants are a lot more talented than people give them credit for. If you take those 5 blown leads, the Giants are 7-5. I think it's totally a coaching thing, and not to mention, if Dart plays in the Chiefs game in the beginning of the year, that was a totally winnable game.
Well, Matt, hold on.
Their top receiver.
Matt, 1 second here. So you're not going to give them all 5. That is, they do not earn that benefit of the doubt.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that.
All right. Let's give them 40% of the stunning blown leads. That's 4 wins. I think they're going to still find a way to win probably 2 games down the stretch as the schedule softens, not the next one. And at that point, you're in the neighborhood of 7-ish wins. And again, they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. And there needs to be wholesale changes. And we're almost there. Coach gone, DC gone, some players will be gone. Eventually the GM will be gone. But, it's probably a little bit more promising than it's felt for most of the season. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think, not to mention, they've had the hardest record in football. With the rookie quarterback, and they're doing all this.
Matt, the 2-10. Second straight year. First team. I don't think you do. I don't think you do. First team eliminated in the NFL for the second straight year. And you talk about the Chiefs game. Did Jackson Dart play against the Saints?
Yeah, he did.
And what happened?
Top receiver.
What happened?
Without his top receiver.
Oh, okay, without his top receiver. The top receiver has been here almost all year long. With Jackson Dart. So they lost to the Saints, who are a god-awful football team.
Played 1 quarter with Malik Neighbors.
Okay, and so how have the Giants been able to score all these points then without their great receiver?
they're doing it with Isaiah Hodgins, and all I'm saying is
Hodgins just got here, Matt. They've been
I'm
scoring.
happy for Hodgins, by the way. That's a good story.
They've been scoring points all over the place without their top receiver
Matt,
and without their running back.
Pardon me, Sal. Matt, offense is not the issue. It's not the issue. There's issues. Now, this kind of goes in, and thank you for the call there, Matt. This kind of ties into what I'm saying, where you get Neighbors back next year, you get Scadaboo back, and there's still a lot of things to do. You got to settle on a coach.
Score 50 points?
No, but you don't have to if the defense actually does their job a little bit.
Scadaboo and Neighbors don't play defense. So even with Dart, Scadaboo, Neighbors back, how many points are they going to score against Lions? I mean, maybe they do score 40, and maybe that's what it's going to take to win. But all we heard all year long, prior to the start of the season, certainly, and even at the beginning of the year, was their defense and how we talked about it. I thought they were going to be good, too.
I thought it would be the best part of the team.
Okay, so
we all did.
So then I don't want to hear about the quarterback or the wide receiver or the running back. All those blown leads are on the defense. And it's not the coach. The coach is now gone, and we'll see what happens. It's the players. The players it's the whole thing. And I guess really it comes down to, do you want Shane back or not? Because if you think that they're talented enough to justify him coming back for year 5.
No, I don't want him back.
Oh, I'm not even saying you.
That.
I'm saying just in general.
Yep.
Like, if somebody's going to say, well, they're more talented than we thought. Okay, so do you want to ride with Joe Shane? For me, I don't. We'll see what happens with the coaches or who comes in next year, and if they can make the most of what's here. I don't think this is the worst talent in the NFL.
No, it's not. I mean, that's the point. Think about this. Who knows what would have happened if Jameis would have started against the Commanders or, against the Cowboys, or if Bowen did a better job with all these leads. I don't know. It's a guessing game that's not even worth playing at this point. But we all thought, because we didn't know when, to think about the conversations going into the year. When are we going to see Jackson Dart? Is it going to be week 10 against the Bears? Is it going to be the Saints game? Like, we all had, that was the conversation. So nobody really thought the Giants, we didn't even know Scadaboo. We didn't even really know anything about Cam Scadaboo. And the O-line was still a train wreck until they showed that they weren't. So it was about, when is Dart going to play, right? So that was the focus. That, understandably, that was the conversation. And to me, I think everybody thought the Giants defense, including us, could carry the mail, get to the quarterback. Abdul Carter's going to be Burns is going to be great. Thibodeau's flashed a little bit more last year. Here we go. He got sexy in the middle. And it hasn't happened. But that doesn't mean that our thoughts and our assertions toward the defense were wrong. I think with better coaching, this and obviously need another corner, I think this defense could be okay. And if the defense gets okay with the offense, that's where I think you'll see the Giants' talents not as weak as some people think.
Robin calling from Westchester. What's up, Robin?
Hello, Rob.
Hey, guys. I called last week. We had the same conversation, and I just wanted to jump in because I do agree with BT. I mean, I said this last week that the talent was there. If you look at the games they lost, starting with the Commander game, no kicker. They could not kick a field goal. So that loss is out the window. And subsequent games, VT, you said it. They've been in many of these games very competitive. Trust me, I shut the TV off when I can't watch anymore with those 20-3 scores. So they've been in the games, horrible losses. If you saw that field goal yesterday, the 59-yard field goal, it was hooking right, and then it took a left. I never saw anything. I said the fans must have been blowing fans.
I don't understand what that has to do with anything.
It has to do with this idea of just making this wholesale change and calling this team trash. I mean, it's not trash. I feel like they're showing up, and I'm just trying to, I want to make that point.
Or do you want to keep Joe Shane or no?
Why not?
Oh, I'm asking you. I could give you a million reasons why not. We've done that for how many years here? So I'm asking you. Do you want to keep Joe Shane or not?
I would say in the context of what's going on with the team, Mara is ill. He's battling an illness. The family is not.
I know, but we're not talking about right now. I'm talking about next year, Robin. We understand all that, and we're sensitive to that. I'm talking about, do you believe, let's simplify it. It's not that difficult. You're making it too difficult. Yeah. Do you believe Joe Shane is the right guy to build this football team beyond this season?
I stand behind a lot of his
so that's is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, there you go.
We're not out here. I got you. We're not out here politically stumping, Rob. Good God.
It's just if you think they're talented, then you want to keep the general manager, and that's fine if you do. I vehemently disagree with that. I think he stinks. And I think their record is something that's impossible to ignore. 4-8 would be a bad record. 2-10 is embarrassing and abysmal. So that's where now the talent thing is also could be semantics a little bit. Are they more talented than their record? Probably, but I mean, it's not a coincidence their record's the same thing as it was a year ago. And they did fire the head coach, and the new head coach, the interim head coach, still losing football games. Still losing games in similar fashion, I might add. And it's not all, to me, on the defensive coordinator. It's also on the defensive players that they have.
I mean, I look at the Raiders. I look at the Titans. I look at the Jets to an extent, the Saints there. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what does it really mean? I mean, we're debating the merits of this team is not quite as bad as other teams. All I'm saying is, and this goes back to something I've said for a while, I think the Giants' job is going to actually be appealing this offseason from a head coach perspective. Now, you got to keep Dart healthy the rest of the year. We'll see when he comes back. We'll see how they run him. Get rid of those stupid runs where he's banging into bodies like he's a bowling ball with linebackers and safeties. Keep him upright. Change that. I think Kafka will. But at least the stabilization of the offensive line and at least a couple of things on defense. You get the right GM, because I am moving on from the GM. I've said that I'm certainly not going to change my opinion on Joe Shane here when I've had it for well over a year. It is more desirable than some people think. And I think maybe, look at the Patriots this year. I don't know if you would see that kind of a jump. I don't think it's completely nuts to think that the Giants could take a big step next year. I really believe that.
But I think you could say that about a lot of teams.
Can't say it about the Titans right now. I can't say it about the Jets. No, but I'm just saying I can't say it about the Jets without a quarterback. I can't say it about the Browns unless you believe in Sanders, which I don't.
You named 3 teams.
I can't say that about the Raiders. Looks like the Raiders hired the wrong coach.
Okay.
Raiders stink.
Keep going.
But I'm naming. Hold on, Sal. I'm naming the worst teams.
Right.
And who am I leaving out that's really bad? Of all the bad teams, they're the one team that I think could take a big step.
All right, what's a big step? Playoffs next year?
I mean, periphery of wild card-ish.
But that's also not good enough.
I'm not saying it's good enough. That's a different conversation.
I think they could be a playoff team next year. The way the league is, it is meant to. The Giants could have another top pick. They have their quarterback coming back. Neighbors coming back healthy. I think they could be a playoff team next year. Let's not overinflate what the Giants are at 2-10. To me, it's a non-starter. It's a second straight year. Of all the teams in the NFL, Joe Shane in his 3rd and 4th year as general manager of this team led this team to be the first team eliminated 2 years in a row.
Listen, that's where you drop the mic, and that's where any defense of the Giants. No, I'm saying that's where any defense of the Giants really sounds ludicrous. That's why I kind of throw the caveat. We've been watching football forever. And, there's been a lot more good Giant teams than Jets, but we know bad when we see bad. And the way they've lost these 5 games in the 4th quarter, all I'm saying is to get to that point, you're a little bit better than the record probably says. But as Parcells would always say, you are what the record says you are. 888-808-1019, BT and Sal on the fans. Obviously, the reaction to the firing here, the Shane stuff, the direction of the Giants, and Brandon Nimmo. Wow, that came out of nowhere unless you listen to this show, because we've been talking about it for a long time. So, of course, we have at least a possibility. We will get to that. Hey, this winter, celebrate the joy of the season in a new all-electric SUV from Cadillac. Make every drive exciting with the innovative technology in the optic. Arrive confidently, Sal, as we have with our Cadillac, with a sophisticated styling of Lyric, and it is comfortable. It's awesome. They ride smooth, phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, discover the comfort of the spacious 3-row Vistic. Experience EV luxury like never before at the season's best sales event. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer. The BT and Sal Show, presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Giants.
Every Saturday at 8 a.m., it's Kickoff with Boomer and Mike Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL.
This is Mike Kafka's audition on the job. If he can do something here special with Jackson Dart and that continues to grow when he comes back, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to keep him.
Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. And The Fan, always streaming on Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio app.
This Thanksgiving, FanDuel's introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together. It's called Pass the Leg. Here's how it works. You start a group build, and then you pick. You pass it to your friends so they can add theirs, and when everybody's done, you each lock in the group parlay with your own funds, because football's better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everybody gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you start a parlay off with a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, and then maybe pass it off to one of your buddies. So grab your crew, start your build, and get in on the action this Thanksgiving with Pass the Leg. Visit FanDuel.com/BT to get going. That's FanDuel. Play your game. We love the app around here. It's safe and secure. And when you win, get paid right away. underway. Of course, FanDuel's the official sports book of the Fan, WFAN. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions to apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And for help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
On the golf tee, it's Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The competition will be tense, but feet will be comfy. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup. Final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5 p.m.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
This winter, move and be moved in the Mazda CX-5, the smart choice for those who expect more. With standard I-Active all-wheel drive and advanced safety features, the CX-5 delivers confidence and control in every condition. Inside, you'll find a redefined high-quality interior designed for comfort and connection, because there's more to a Mazda. Celebrate the season during the More to Move You winter sales event. Lease the Mazda CX-5 for $229 a month and make every drive feel like a gift. Visit your local Mazda dealer or MazdaUSA.com.
Talk New York sports on The Fan.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
It's time for Black Friday, Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. Enjoy the lowest prices of the year on select PCs like the Dell 16 Plus, featuring Intel Core Ultra processors. And with built-in advanced features, it's the PC that helps you do more, faster. Plus, earn Dell rewards and enjoy many other benefits, like free shipping, price match guarantee, and expert support. They also have huge deals on accessories that pair perfectly with your Dell PC and make perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hey, this is Tiki Barber. Those of us living in New Jersey got hit with a 20% electric rate increase. If your current heating system is over 15 years old, it's time for a new high-efficiency Carrier system. And there's only one company to call for a new one. My friends at Edison Heating and Cooling, New Jersey's heating experts for over 38 years. Older heating systems waste gas. So get your system checked now and save money with Edison Heating and Cooling. Contact them now at EdisonHVAC.com. That's EdisonHVAC.com.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, The Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
BT, it's out back on The Fan, 888-808-1019. We'll get to the baseball and the Brandon Nimmo trade coming up at 11. We'll continue with the Giants calls here. Before we do that, though, BT, the decision from Kafka to go for it. So many people, I don't know your take. We didn't talk about this at all prior to this, so I'm curious to get your take here. So many people who, when Dable was here, had an issue with Dable kicking a field goal and not going for it. Now we're saying that they wanted Kafka to kick a field goal to go up 6 with 3 minutes to go. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. The season is over. The Lions are going to score points anyway. The Giants' defense has collapsed all year long. That, to me, was the right move to go for the throat right there. If you score the touchdown, the game is over. They can't beat you. You're up 10 with 3 minutes to go. They can't beat you. If you kick a field goal, odds are they're going to come down and score a touchdown. And even if they don't, they're going to probably get another possession anyway to do the same thing. With 3 minutes to go, they could still have 2 possessions. So I have no issue with, I thought it was the right move with Kafka being aggressive there. I know these coaches got away from themselves here. Everybody's going for it on 4th down all the time. In this particular spot, when the difference is a 6-point lead versus a 10-point lead, I think you got to go for it there.
Absolutely the wrong move if this is 1987. I mean, of course you go for the touchdown here, man. Are you kidding me? I don't understand how anybody really sees it any other way. And I'm always open to debate and discussion and dialogue and this and that. Have we seen how the Giants have lost every game that they've lost this year? You know, you have to go for the throat. You got to take that stake, and you've got to try to pierce the heart of the Lions, which is what they tried to do.
It's the only way you could beat them. They're better than you are.
No question. You're 2 touchdown dogs. Now, I'm with you. That was the right move.
And it still took a 60-yard field goal basically to tie it.
I know, jeez. All right, so here's the thing, too. So I remember saying about Kafka, I thought, and I still think to an extent, that he's got a slight chance to become the coach next year. And not even to debate that now, just to reestablish my point. I think that there's a chance. I did that, and I still do now. With that being said, I always said that you've got to, when you have a chance to distinguish yourself as an interim head coach, you've got to go for it. So we need to see how he deploys Jackson Dart. Is it a little different in terms of keeping him safe? We'll find out when Dart comes back. We got a little look. I would have gone a little bit further. You know, one series, special teams with Abdul Carter being late or sleeping, whatever the hell happened there. But at least there was a show of authority, which was the complete antithesis of whatever Dable was doing, because then the report came out, Dable basically ignored that all year. So there's little flashes, little pops here, and Dable a couple times did not go for it, to your point, which to the chagrin of Russell and others. So I love it. You go for it. You try to embolden your team. You're lucky to be in that position. You're on the road. Go for the win.
I think that now you were more open to keeping Kafka than I was. I just want everybody out. Anybody that's had anything to do with this mess over the last 4 years, I want out. With that being said, Kafka to me has been impressive here in the last 2 weeks since taking over. Those things that you mentioned about holding players accountable, Abdul Carter specifically, the way he's been open and transparent with the media, the offense, forget about the number of points that they score or the decisions to go for it or not. The offense looks more traditional. The Giants with Dable were scoring a lot of their points with the cheat code running with Jackson Dart. Kafka so far has been traditional runs and throwing the football with Jameis Winston, not to mention the creativity that they're showing. Now, is the creativity sustainable? Probably not, but at least it's in there. Comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree. There's a lot of checking the boxes when it comes to Kafka. Now, with all of that being said, I still can't take that risk to me with the Giants bringing back Shane and Kafka next year, and God forbid they start again, 1-8, like it just be an utter disaster. So to me, you're better off just cleaning house. But with that being said, I think Kafka's done a nice job and is at least opening my eyes. Somebody who was a clear detractor, just didn't want any part of Kafka at all. He's showing me something here over these 2 weeks that he's been the head coach.
What if it's a veteran GM that's got some success in the league who really says, I've always liked Kafka, I want to work with this guy? Shane out.
Yeah.
New GM who's done it, not a rookie.
I must admit that I'm more open to it now, even with the 2 losses. It shows you it's not just about the win-loss. I think it's foolish to look at the schedule and be like, well, if he wins 3 of the final 5 games, he could be...
Yeah, that's fool's gold so many times.
That to me is stupid. It's not about just the wins. It's about looking at what he's doing, and there are clear things that he's done in just 2 weeks that I believe in a successful head coach. Maybe, first and foremost, not even just a discipline thing, looking at the offense and watching the way that the offense works.
Yeah.
Under Kafka. So I want to see him, though, with Dart. Before I make any definitive decision,
fair enough.
I want to see him with Jackson Dart. I'd still lean moving on, But if I hired a new general manager that came in here and said, I want to interview him as part of the crew. Also, who are the replacements? If you're not giving me the known commodity, I don't want Mike McCarthy myself, and he's one of the more known commodity names out there. So if you're giving me the list of candidates and it's all coordinator, young coordinator, defensive guy, whatever, then maybe Kafka would be the best of the bunch.
I think and we talked about this, so not even to jump back into this today, but I think that there's a couple of coaches that you might be able to trade for that are in situations right now that are kind of seemingly ending like the end of the road, the end of the run. Some good guys too. Listen, here's what I would say just philosophically about and I've said this before, when it's so bad, all right, and the losing stench is just unavoidable, I've got to fumigate the entire joint. All right, you take the family, go to the hotel for a couple of days, and just spray everywhere. Everybody, including the roaches, out of the building. However, it's a little different when there's somebody that I think can be a star, and I think that Kafka could be a star. That's a strong, almost ridiculous statement for somebody who's coached a couple of games, but I know he's really respected in the NFL, very respected. He was in the cycle before. If the Giants fire him or don't bring him back, he will be back in the cycle this year. I believe he'll get a job this year. So if the rest of the NFL covets him, and I know that they do, and he's showing some good things, why let him leave?
Sports Talk on the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. Count on Sundays all season long with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Mike is in Westerly, Rhode Island. What's up, Mike?
Fellas, for years, I mean, this is crazy that it never gets talked about. When's the last linebacker that the Giants had that was even potential of sniffing a Pro Bowl? You can't even tell me
who
our two outside linebackers are right now.
Was it Pierce? To answer your question, maybe Pierce.
Maybe, and maybe he made one in his entire career, and we had him later in his career. We have not had a linebacker. Now, we always draft in the top 10 because we're awful. And to draft a linebacker, we don't put a premium on that position anymore in the NFL. So we haven't had a linebacker that can read a gap. Bobby Okereke tackles a lot, but that's because we're on defense a lot. Okereke, yeah.
He's not blowing plays up though. He's not disrupting stuff.
I think Dane Belton might be the worst safety in the NFL. We can't cover a tight end. Our defense was only thought of being dangerous because we could rush the passer. So we were trying to mask all of our other weaknesses by getting to the quarterback quick, and we're not doing it.
It's a good point.
One guy is.
It's a good point. I think you nailed it.
One guy is.
Yeah. There's a lot of...
real quick with Kafka, he made one mistake on that final drive.
Go ahead.
He just didn't run the ball on second and third down.
True.
That should have been 2 run plays and then on fourth down passes.
True. Tick, tick.
That's my only problem with that.
Yeah, but also, and thank you for the call, also he could be thinking, well, I want another possession here, which they did have. They just had it with, under 30 seconds to go. You could be thinking with 3 minutes to go, all right, if we don't score here, they're pinned back, so we could either stop them and get the ball. They kick a field goal, tie the game, and we get the ball back with a chance to get our own quick field goal. Like, there's a lot of different options there. So, yes, you can nitpick and say run the clock out. I don't think that you could be thinking that with 3 minutes to go.
I think that's overthinking things. I think that's being a little presumptuous. Try to punch it in. Again, I understand the criticism. I understand the pushback here. I understand also you run the ball tick, 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 tick. That changes things, what the Lions can do and obviously what the Giants can do moving forward. But if you're going for it, and you and I both are happy that he did, it didn't work out. But if you're going for it, you bust out the plays you think are going to work, whether it's in the air or on the ground.
Yeah, I've got to be consistent here. If I'm getting on Dable, if I get on Dable for saying you can't play run the clock out when there's 3 minutes to go is an eternity in the NFL, specifically against the Detroit Lions, who seemingly score at will. Now, that was not the case yesterday, obviously, until they broke the floodgates open, the fourth quarter scoring the 10 and then in the overtime the first play. But point is, in their building, 3 minutes to go, a team like that, really any team in the NFL, 3 minutes, an eternity. So I can't play run the clock out. My main goal in that spot is I end the game if I go up 2 scores. Even the Giants couldn't blow me.
They have, though, this year.
In this spot,
I think they would have held on and won the game.
Well, think about what would have had to have happened if the Giants scored there. Okay, 3 minutes to go, you're up 10. Worst case, the Lions come down immediately and score a touchdown, and you still have the ball. Then you could start to maybe play clock a little bit. But again, they'd have to go the entire length of the field there. Well, not on the kickoff, obviously, if you score the touchdown. You get the point. They'd have to drive to score a touchdown there. You're in a good spot. At least you you'd think a minute would come off the clock. Now you're talking about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lions had their timeouts left either at that point.
I think you'd need, 3 things to happen. So you would have to score. First you got to score it. Then the Lions would have to score. Then you would have to get the ball back and do nothing with it. And then the Lions would have to score again. So there's really 4 variables at that point. They were, I know we've heard this a million times, though, but we used to do, they were up 26-8. Fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go, Denver. 2 scores inside of 4 minutes, the Bears. Yesterday, Saints 14-3. But I actually, watching the game, and I was going back and forth, obviously, I feel like if they would have gone up to 2 scores, they would have won the game.
BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. We'll hear from Mike Kafka on his decision to let go of defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. When we come back, we'll get into the Brandon Nimmo trade coming up at 11 o'clock. If you're dealing with neck pain, backaches, even sciatica, stop messing around and go see the guys at Samuel Institute for Pain Management. That's Dr. Shah, Dr. Ko, and Dr. Sitapra. They've got offices in Colonia, Inglewood, and Livingston. And here's the best part. They focus on non-opioid, minimally invasive, non-surgical treatments. Real solutions that can actually get you back to feeling like yourself again. Check out the thousands of 5-star reviews that trust Samwell. So turn to Samwell Pain for relief. Go to SamwellPain.com. That's SamwellPain.com. This Odyssey Sports Minute is brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Make the right choice. Don't drive impaired.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. You can imagine how these suits at ESPN reflexively rolled their eyes at a Carolina-San Francisco prime-timer. But this is an unexpectedly crucial matchup. Bryce Young is coming off of his best game, and a win here would be huge for the Panthers' division crown hopes. Meantime, Christian McCaffrey faces his former team for the first time. I do like the Niners 27-24. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Joe?
I started a woodworking business. I was able to build beautiful furniture, but had no handle on the business side of things, so quickly fell behind in my taxes. 1 year of being behind in taxes quickly turned into 5 years. I ended up owing almost $37,000.
Then Joe found Tax Relief Advocates.
I would hear ads for Tax Relief Advocates. One day it just clicked. This is my exact situation that I'm in. So I wrote down the number and called from the car when I got home that day. TRA saved me 99% of what I owed the IRS, and that brought a huge sense of relief.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Joe did and call TRA for a consultation.
I'm really happy that I made that call, and I finally felt like I could breathe again.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-513-5321. 800-513-5321. That's 800-513-5321.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Looking for the lowest price on name brand tires? Get to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any name brand tire. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Hello, Crushers. It's your host, DJ Divine, telling you that Candy Crush music season is here. Tasty. Conquer levels to mix your own track and win sweet rewards. Divine. Now let's swipe to the next track. Take it away, Thundercat. Candy Crush music season. Play now. From November 3rd to December 7th, selected players level 36+. Terms apply. See in-game. Optional in-game purchase.
Get ready for more BT and Sal on The Fan.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
American Dream is the biggest indoor entertainment complex on the East Coast. Just minutes from Manhattan, with over 25 attractions for every age and thrill seeker. From DreamWorks Water Park to Nickelodeon Universe, plus shopping, dining, and more, all under one roof. Plan your adventure at AmericanDream.com.
Beware the holiday buffering.
Who are you?
The ghost of Internet Past here to slow down right when your guests arrive.
Not this year. We got Verizon's 100% fiber optic home internet. Scored a limited time offer for $20 a month and locked in the price for 3 years.
Fios home internet, that's scary fast.
Now we can all stream, video chat, and game at the same time. So bye.
Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch to Fios home internet today. Fios 300 megabits per second plan at $20 a month with autopay. Any Verizon mobile phone plan and bonus discount. Price guarantee applies to base monthly rate only for my home customers. Terms apply.
Together, let's drive at Paramus Chevrolet. For just $227 a month and 2004 do-it delivery, lease a brand new Equinox 4D Wagon LT with two-wheel drive for 36 months. Buying? Enjoy 0.0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Plus, every Paramus Chevy vehicle comes with America's #1 VIP Plus program, including complimentary New Jersey state inspections, oil and filter changes, loaner cars, and so much more. Visit ParamusChevrolet.com today.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan.
BT and Sal back on The Fan. 888-808-1019, the number to call. All right, before we get back to the calls, let's listen to Mike Kafka. So I'm assuming Hop, this was from this morning, just a little while ago.
Yeah, he had a Zoom at 10, and they started putting out clips.
All right, so here's Kafka first on the decision to move on from defensive coordinator Shane Bowen.
So, made the tough decision today to let Shane go as our defensive coordinator, and effective immediately. We're gonna let Charlie Bullen run the defense as our defensive coordinator. I got a lot of faith in Charlie, and obviously these decisions aren't easy. And Shane's a good person. He's a good man. He's a good coach. Just the results just weren't where we wanted them to be, and so Charlie's gonna step up for us and rally the group. The defensive staff will rally around Charlie and put together a great plan. I got a lot of confidence in the room and a lot of confidence in our staff to do that.
I mean, what else are you going to say? I mean, I respect you. You want to, good man. I'm sure he is. Good coach. That was a little bit more debatable.
Good man,
here.
I'd stop there.
I know. But I think that's coaching one-on-one. You say what he said.
All right, now let's do a pretend play here. So if I were on the Zoom, because this was not in the crowd, if I were on the Zoom, this is what I would say. Mike Salicati here, WFAN. The question I think, everybody wants to know is, what the hell took you so long?
What changed since last night? I believe you were asked. I wasn't there, but I believe you were asked last night about Shane, and you said he had a lot of confidence in Shane going forward.
I just had an opportunity to watch the tape, look back at a few weeks, watch a lot of the defense, watch a lot of what was kind of going on, the communication, and just felt like this was the right time to do it. When I got the job, quickly, I didn't want to make a lot of rash decisions and jump to anything really quick. I wanted to have some time to sit back, evaluate it, look at it, and kind of figure out what the best thing to do was. So, wanted to be calculated in how I handled it, and I thought that today was the right time.
Hoff butchered that bit right there. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to go right to the Kafka answer, but whatever.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Either way, you get the point. Bowen's fired. Kafka. I respect the fact, BT, that he made the decision. Now, I would assume on first level, when I learn about this, I'm thinking, well, somebody finally stepped in and said enough's enough with Bowen, but I'm glad that it seems like it comes from Kafka himself.
Yeah, and I think it's also smart not to just get elevated and then just make rash changes. Now, I'm sure he had a strong opinion of the job that Shane Bowen was doing when he was watching as the offensive coordinator. It's not like he was on a different planet. I'm sure he was frustrated as well, saying to himself, man, I would do this, or, if I'm running the show, I'd get rid of him. But I think that smart people are more analytical and just give it a little bit of time before you make that tough decision. Listen, I don't know, every Giant fan might not want this, but there's still a decent amount of football left. There's a primetime game. There's a bye week, which you're going to have a couple of practices. You got 4 more games, a couple in the division here. Not that it means anything in terms of the record, but it does mean something in terms of perception. So I think that Kafka is about self-preservation, clearly, trying to get the job long-term and trying to get the building healthy. And I think it would have been very tough to be healthy if Shane Bowen was around a lot longer, with all due respect.
WFAN NFL football powered by Verizon. Get to your local Verizon store today. John is in Hartford, Connecticut. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, guys. Thanks for my call. Hey, Sal. You know I love you, but you're throwing a little gas on the fire this morning. I know you're loving it, but I kind of go with BT. Give me a moment to kind of go with the BT side with a little bit of a twist. I think we should stay the course with Joe Shane. I think the change that I would make would bring in a veteran head coach like a Mike McCarthy and keep Kafka on as OC. And he's kind of like the head coach in waiting. He's only 38 years old. I agree with BT.
But then you got to hire him, John. If he's not going to stay here under Mike McCarthy, nor would McCarthy want that.
Well, can I just finish? Sal, give me a minute. Let me finish here, okay? Let's all just communicate here. Get everybody in a room and say, listen, and the mayors and everybody else, I like the direction, but here's what I like to happen. And put a feeler out to McCarthy to say, hey, I want McCarthy to be the head coach and Kafka to stay as the offense coordinator, knowing that in the future, Kafka's going to have this job, okay? Number one. Number two, I want to go back out and reach out to Wink Martindale in Michigan and bring his ass back in and start working with the talent we have and let Joe Shane work on putting a heavy defensive draft that's going to work with a Wink Martindale scheme, and then let's go and give him a run next year because I think we'd have both sides of the ball corrected. We can make big progress. Your thoughts?
BT, go ahead. You take this. He wants to partner with you.
That's a lot of...
Thanks for the call, John.
Things that just will not happen. I mean, I think Wink hates the Giants. Now, I know that disdain is for the guy who's no longer here. He's not coming back, number one. So you talk about a secession plan, which I'm good with. But this is not like John Shire or Duke with Coach K, who you know is eventually going to ride off into the sunset, and you just kind of sit on that next seat knowing that when Coach K retires, it's your job. Now, Mike McCarthy is not young, but he's not older like Pete Carroll. Like if the Giants would have, if it would have been Pete, and Pete's not doing a good job now, but if it was a Pete Carroll, 74-year-old coach, or Belichick, which is not going to happen either, that's a little more plausible. But first of all, and I like McCarthy, and I would hire McCarthy, okay? But if they bring in McCarthy, even if Kafka decided to stay on for 1 year, he's going to eventually, because Dart's, they're going to do well, the offense, and then and then Kafka's going to be in the cycle next year and probably get hired. He's not going to wait for 5 years, so it just doesn't add up, and there's no way that Wink is coming back. That's wacky.
John, there were so many points that you made during the course of that phone call that were, I mean, flat out hideous. I don't even know where to begin. With all due respect, I respect your fandom, and we appreciate listening and taking the time to call. Those are horrible ideas, one after the next. First of all, starting with Joe Shane, stay the course with Joe Shane. Think about, like, when you go back and listen to this on the free Odyssey app because you want to hear yourself calling. I used to do the same thing you said, but we didn't have the Odyssey app.
You got to tape it.
Yeah, I would.
We had to put perfect.
I'd put the cassette tape in the deck, record it, hear Mike and the Mad Dog yelling at each other. Then I'd get on the horn. I'd go back and play it. I love it. So when you go back and listen to yourself say that you want to, quote, stay the course with Joe Shane, maybe you could hear what I heard and how insane that sounds after another 2-10 start to their season in year 4. But if we go beyond that, let's just say that I'll grant you, okay, you want Shane, fair enough. You can't hire Mike McCarthy, who is known for his offense. That's what Mike McCarthy does, and then force Mike Kafka on him. It just doesn't work. It's got to be one or the other. Well, I didn't get to that part. We didn't get to that part of the equation. I'm trying to get there. Shane, and then he wants McCarthy and Kafka to stay on, and then Wink Martindale. But if you want to hire Kafka, that's also your choice too. You want to keep Shane, fine. You want to hire Kafka, fine. But you can't have McCarthy and Kafka. It doesn't make any sense. McCarthy would never come here if he had Kafka forced on him, and Kafka wouldn't stay here if Mike McCarthy were hired to be the head coach.
Massive points for creativity, 0 points for plausibility.
Sonny is in Malvern. What's up, Sonny?
Sonny.
Hey, guys. Once again, Carl Banks doing a great job killing the Giants, killing Barnes and Lawrence specifically for Barnes taking himself out of the game. I don't understand that at key points of the game. Makes a good play. The next play, he's coming out of the game. and Lawrence obviously for being out. I heard they said he was nicked up, but come on, guys. I mean, nicked up. This is this is the NFL here. And Sal, you're way off on the Giants' talent. Listen, they had a third-string quarterback play 2 games, right? Wilson, who's god-awful, played 3 games. And a rookie quarterback played the rest of the games. And they played 8 out of those teams that they played are 2 or more wins over 500. And they not only, were in those games, but they dominated some of those games. So, listen, I know the players got to take accountability. But, listen, I think the Giants have a great future. 2 number 1 seeds, guys, the Eagles and the Browns, only gave up 30 points to one team. Guess who that team is?
Sonny.
The Giants.
Sonny.
And the Patriots and the Bears.
Sonny, you're thinking.
What was their record last year,
Sonny,
Sal?
here's what I would say is you got to raise your expectations.
Sal,
what do you think
the Patriots and the Bears? Now, what was the Patriots and the Bears record last year? 4 wins and 5 wins. Where are they now?
Yeah,
first place in their division.
Yeah,
okay?
and we'll see how good it is. I don't believe in the Bears being any good, and the Patriots have been good. But push comes to shove in the postseason, I think there are teams that are better. You wish it could be that good. You wish that's going to be the case.
Team, Sal, going forward next year? You don't think they can win 11 games?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
God.
Call me crazy. Yeah, oh my God.
You're crazy,
Sonny,
Sal. You're crazy.
Add up how many years it's taken them to win 11 games total over the last 3.
They got their quarterback now, Sal. You don't understand that.
Right.
They have that quarterback.
No, I do understand. Where is he?
He's hurt.
Okay, and
how get hurt? How many quarterbacks are hurt in the NFL?
Okay.
Every other week there's a quarterback.
So what if that happens again next year? Then what are you going to do with those 11 wins? Like, Sonny, come back down to earth for me, please. Good God. Am I not seeing the same thing? Like, are you guys not watching these games? They're 2-10 again. I'm watching the games on Sunday. Are you not? You seeing good in that? I mean, holy crap, guys. I'm not saying that it can't turn around. I'm saying, how do you have the balls to sit here and with confidence say that they're going to win 11 games next year? Add up how many games this team has won the last 3 years. You don't even know who their head coach is. You don't even know who's running things next year. And you're going to sit here and say they're going to win 11 games next year? Based on what? Oh, my God, dude.
Sonny, the crazy thing is I'm more with Sonny than you.
You
that
don't
goes
think they're
without
winning
saying.
11 games
No,
next
I'm
year.
not going to attach it. I didn't even
I
hear
heard
it.
the
Did he say
same.
11?
I almost just
Did he
cursed.
actually
Yeah,
say
he
11?
said 11.
All right, no, I'm not attaching definitive, win totals. That's ridiculous. So if he would have attached a contingency to it, this is where, Sonny, you lose me a little bit, right? Because I'm largely with you, with Neighbors, with Cam, with Dart, with a better O-line, with a little more personnel in the secondary, with some better coaching. Then those are big things. But you've got to attach that contingency. When you talk about the Patriots, they got Vrabel, and Drake May plays every week and is good. The Bears got Ben Johnson. Look what Ben Johnson's done for Caleb Williams. So I'm going to leave the door ajar. Again, much more than my partner. But I can't, start shouting from the mountaintop until I see what the hell they do at head coach.
By the way, we heard the same thing last year. Everybody said the same thing last year. You and I debated about this. Oh, Russell Wilson. Oh, that defense. They're going to be better. They're going to be better. The owner said, if I'm in the same spot next year, something's gone wrong. It's the same thing. I heard the same stuff a year ago. And the difference is that was when we didn't know that they had the quarterback. Now they actually do have the quarterback. And they still can't win football games. I'm not saying it's impossible to turn around. Obviously, look at the league. The way the league is set up is to where you can have teams that struggle from one year and then play well the next. And yeah, obviously there are some pieces to be excited about. The arrogance from a fan base that has not seen any success for a decade plus is astounding. Guys, you got to come back to me here. Either you have to get a grasp of reality or raise your expectations. But to say that this Giants team is going to win 11 games next year without knowing who the general manager is going to be, who the head coach is going to be, is just completely asinine to absurd levels.
What curse did you almost say?
S word. I was going to say, so we said the same S last year.
Last year. All right, so you ready? Real fast. I know we got a break. Tennessee, Giants, New Orleans, Jets, Vegas, Browns. Those are right now, as per Tankathon, the order, all right, of the draft, 1 through 6. Titans, Giants, Saints, Jets, Vegas, Browns. The difference, and I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier, more thoroughly, if you want to go check it out on the Free Odyssey app. The difference for me, which is why I'm a little bit more, was that Sonny?
Yeah.
With Sutton, not totally equally with Sonny, but more with Sonny than you. All those teams, one has a quarterback, and that's the Giants. And you look at Tennessee, their guy stinks. The Saints have to find one. The Jets have to find one. The Raiders have to find one. And the Browns have to find one. So the Giants can at least attack this offseason without trying to find the quarterback. Now, they got other things that they got to find. If they do, I think they could take a nice jump. I mean, 11 wins, I wouldn't say that. But if certain things pop for the Giants, and I don't think they're like home runs, they have to hit a couple of doubles this offseason. If they do this time next year, Giants are in the wild card conversation.
By the way, we forget where I was at versus where you were at midway through the season. The Broncos' performance to me, even with the loss, was I didn't think that they had a chance to compete in that game because I thought Denver was on a different level. At that point, I was saying I think that this team can compete here and legitimately get themselves into the playoff picture in the NFC. And then it just continued to get worse and worse and worse to the level that we're at now with this team. So I'm not saying I can't see good things here. I'm not saying that it's impossible to turn it around. What I am saying is you got to be realistic. And a lot of that thought process was in place a year ago, and look at where we are now. So you don't know can they hire the head coach first? Can they make a decision on who the GM is going to be? Good God. BT and Sal on the
Joe
Fan.
Shane.
We'll work at some exactly. We'll work at some baseball when we come back. 888-808-1019. Let's get you updated. Here's Chris Lopresti.
Talk sports with BT and Sal. Middays 10 to 2. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
WFAN Sports Flash.
Good morning at 11 o'clock. I'm Chris Lopresti. This Sports Flash is sponsored by Chef IQ. Precision cooking, effortless results, chefiq.com. Also sponsored by Motion Sports Medicine. Is pain stopping you from doing what you love? Physical therapists at Motion create a personalized plan that can get you moving safely and confidently again. No referral needed. Most insurance is accepted. Find a location near you and schedule an appointment today at motionptg.com. Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka confirms his decision to fire defensive coordinator Shane Bowen this morning after the Giants blew their 5th double-digit lead of the season and losing to the Lions yesterday. Kafka on doing it now versus when he first took over for Brian Dable.
I didn't want to make a lot of rash decisions and jump to anything really quick. I wanted to have some time to sit back, evaluate it, look at it, and kind of figure out what the best thing to do was. So I wanted to be, calculated in how I handled it, and I thought that today was the right time.
Says he reviewed the film and made the call. Quote, the results just weren't what we wanted them to be. Outside linebackers coach Charlie Pullen takes over for Bowen on an interim basis. Tonight, NFL Week 12 wraps with the 49ers hosting the Panthers. Westwood One's coverage can be heard on WFAN AM beginning at 8 o'clock. The Knicks and the Nets will meet in Brooklyn. Coverage at 7:20 on WFAN FM. And then we'll join the Monday Night Football game in progress. Rutgers basketball in action this afternoon as part of the Player Era Festival. They'll take on Tennessee in Las Vegas. Coverage of that game begins at 12:45 on WFAN AM. St. John's and Iowa State in the same tournament. 4:30 tip from Vegas. Hockey tonight. Rangers host the Blues at the Garden. The Devils are home for the Red Wings. Fan weather sponsored by Ray Cattina Lexus of Freehold and Ray Cattina Lexus of Monmouth. No one sells more Lexus vehicles in New Jersey than Ray Cattina Lexus. Get into the holiday spirit during the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Unwrap exceptional offers on all models, including the all-new GX and TX at Ray Cattina Lexus of Freehold and Ray Cattina Lexus of Monmouth. 49 degrees, sunny skies right now in Central Park. And with Sports Flashes at the top of the hour, I'm Chris Lopresti.
It's Evan and Tiki. Afternoons on the Fan 101.9 FM.
Mike Kafka to take this job. Right now, he probably has a 15% chance to keep it. And Tiki came up with a formula. Every win he gets, it improves by 10%. Is there anything that could bring the percentage down?
Listen to Evan and Tiki on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This Thanksgiving, FanDuel is introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together. It's called Pass the Leg. Here's how it works. Start a group build, add your pick, then pass it to your friends so they can add theirs. When everyone's done, you each lock in the group parlay with your own funds. Because football is better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everyone gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you'll start your parlay off with a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown and then pass it to one of your friends. So grab your crew, start your build, and get in on the action this Thanksgiving with Pass the Leg. Visit FanDuel.com/GO. That's GIO to get started. FanDuel, play your game. We just love the app around here. It's safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with the gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Operating engineers Local 825 are the men and women who make our region move. So whether it's roads, bridges, or our favorite team stadium, they build and maintain the critical transportation, water, and energy infrastructure we rely on. That's why their advocacy organization, ELEC, the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, fights for those priorities every day. That's ELEC, representing the signatory contractors and the hardworking men and women who build both New York and New Jersey.
Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
BT and Sal back on the Fan. We'll get back to your calls here in just a second, and we'll get back to the football stuff. Maybe, Sonny, before we get to the baseball news here with Nimmo, maybe Sonny was talking, in fact, BT, about 3 years and 11 wins. That's what the Giants have had now over the last 3 years. 6 wins in year 2 with Shane and Dable, 3 wins in year 3, and then 2 wins this year. So you add it up, that's where you get his 11 from. Anyway, more on the football when we get back to the phones here. 888-808-1019. The BT and Sal Show on the Fan is presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Giants, the New York Mets, the first team to make a major move. You know, we talked about it. I know you remember. I brought this up in season last year about the Mets needing to explore trading Brandon Nimmo. There was a lot of thought that it wasn't realistic, whether it be then or now. Well, it is. It's official. The Mets just announced it in a press release. Brandon Nimmo is a Texas Ranger. Marcus Semien, a New York Met.
I think it's an awesome move by the Mets. I really do. To me, it tells me that they are finally ready to build this thing the right way. You know, a lot of you, and it goes back even before last year, you know, you talking about the core and us talking about the core. Like, they just had to change things. You know, Nimmo, you're going to appreciate what he was, but that doesn't hang banners, man. It just doesn't. I mean, that's great. His sentimentality works sometimes, and when that player is somebody that's really important to you, which I get, I know that Nimmo is, and I respect that, and I'm sensitive to it. But I think sometimes, and it's happened with me as well with other players that I care about that deeply. Same with you guys, like with Pete, where there's a deficiency or two, and you allow how you feel about that person to overshadow the bottom line impact the player has on the team. And Brandon Nimmo, the last couple of years, has had some aggravating, alarming lower extremity injuries, plantar fasciitis, things that have robbed him, not that he ever really stole bases anyway, but robbed him of a little speed in the outfield. He's got one of the worst arms, if not the worst arm, of any left fielder in baseball. And I don't think he's going to age very well. So I give the Mets a ton of credit. It's a very proactive, very forceful forward move. And the other thing this means is they're doing a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first of many moves, but to get started, they had to make a change with the core. And there was no way, I've said this many times here on SNY, there was no way to improve their team defensively, which is something Stearns made an emphasis, he made a point to talk about that right out of the gate. After
Run prevention is the first thing he said.
There's no way to make this team better defensively if you had both Nimmo and Pete Alonso back. So one of those two had to go. And if you were going to invest in one of them, which one would you invest in? For me, I know the answer. It's very simple. I'd invest in the power of Pete Alonso. Now you free up the DH spot as well, because Nimmo, if he were here and you were stuck with him for the next 5-6 years, he was going to have to be a DH. You're saying you don't think he's going to age well. He wasn't aging well.
That's true.
Already. It's not a knock on him, and he played 155 games, but he's playing a lot of these games hurt. He's banged up. High character guy. Easy to love and root for. I get it. I like him too. You know what I like more than Brandon Nimmo? The Mets winning. I don't understand these fans. Like, what is this in the... I'm not a 9-year-old kid, so I can understand a kid being hurt that his favorite player got moved. but it's all for the greater good. The Mets didn't make this move to rip the hearts out of their fan base. They tried to make this move because they want to win. And by the way, I think it leads directly to Pete Alonso being back. Now, do the math. You think the Mets are really going to trade Nimmo and let Pete walk in the same offseason? That would hurt the fan base to a point where they'd have a lot. I mean, they better make sure they win in that regard. So I think Pete's coming back now.
Okay, so I don't necessarily agree, but so we'll have the conversation. But before we even get to Pete, let's piece this together a little bit further with left field.
Yeah.
So obviously you can go after Bellinger, and even when Nimmo was here, we thought that was a real chance, and that's going to happen. They'll make a move for Bellinger. Maybe there's a real run coming for Tucker. We've talked about Kwan. Maybe he's a trade chip for the Yankees. Why wouldn't Kwan now be a trade piece for the Mets?
Should be.
Okay.
Should be. I think everything should be in play. You also could move Juan Soto to left field and upgrade in right field. Now, I don't think the Mets are going to go get Tucker. I'd love to see it because he's a well-rounded ball player, but you're going to have to make a major commitment depending on what the market is for him. And they already have that in Soto and Lindor and probably Pete. So, yeah, I just think it opens up. PT, you had to do that. You could not run it back again and just say, well, Soto's in right, Nimmo's in left, Alonso at first, Lindor at short, not to mention what happens at second base. So you upgraded. The Mets are going to upgrade defensively in the outfield with the elimination of Brandon Nimmo. You upgraded second base defensively, definitively with Marcus Semien. Forget offensively. And I still think there's potential and upside offensively, but the guy's a gamer. He's going to put the bat on the ball, he runs, and he plays gold glove defense. That's what you want as a second baseman who's going to hit toward the bottom of the order. Not to mention the guy's a workaholic. Stuff I was reading about him. He works hard and all that. His work ethic is second to none. Passion.
Good clubhouse guy.
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So was Nimmo, but
understood. But these pieces fit better. It's not a knock on Nimmo, and it's not saying that Semien's the best. You look at their offensive numbers, you would say, well, how the hell are you going to trade Nimmo for Semien? The pieces fit much better. So now, whether it's Kwan, whether it's Tucker or Bellinger, the Mets have a spot in the outfield. Whether it's a trade that we're not discussing, they freed up a spot that was a, I'll steal a Gary Cohen term, a net negative in left field. He just was. He can't run. He can't move very well. And offensively, he was inconsistent and declining.
And he couldn't go to center field anymore, even in a pinch.
God.
I mean, that was obviously one of the big problems, and that's what he got paid on, really, as the center fielder. All right, so a lot of people, and it's just, and I get it, but it's a very shallow thought process. Like, they didn't, even though literally they did, it's not a Semien for Nimmo trade. I think it's a McNeil for Semien trade because McNeil's next. So you're going to have it up, and I'm with you. I think there's a good chance that Semien bounces back offensively. I'm not saying
even if he doesn't, it's a second baseman with gold glove defense that's hitting at the bottom of the order.
Correct.
Who's better than what they had? Look at McNeil's numbers.
Yeah, he could run a little bit. I think he'll be rejuvenated, especially if Pete's back and you have Soto, depending upon where he hits,
Also,
whatever, Lindor.
Pete, specific thing, I forgot to mention this on SNY last night. Semien at second base defense, right?
Yeah.
Even if Pete is back, he's going to eliminate some of the problems defensively with his range at second base.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much into that because to me, I hear you. It's a fair thought. But I watched Pete play first base. Not even to get down this rabbit hole too much, but I watched Pete, and to me, the issues aren't too much to his right.
It's more the arm. I get it.
More the arm, whatever. But obviously, Semien, who's an elite defensive player, he's going to help out a little bit. He's not going to hurt Pete, put it that way. So now you look at a roster. McNeil's still here. He won't be. Acuna, Beatty, Mauricios, Vientos, some of those guys, and then you throw Jet Williams and whatever. Now I think, here's what I think happens the rest of the winter. You go out there and you convince the Tigers to trade Skubal, something we've always thought. And now you have an ace, all right? And you don't give up McLean for rental. Oh, God almighty. If they get Bellinger, forget about complicating my world. This is about the Mets. If they get Bellinger, I mean, the Mets, with one move that had to be done, that's painful for some of you, the Mets have a chance to go from to dominant.
Well, now they're going to have to replace the offense that was lost from Nimmo. So where are they getting that from? It could be in center. It could be in left. And I would assume one of those spots will be filled with a proven player, whether it's via free agency or trade.
Yeah. I think one of them is going to be a trade. I think they're going to sign somebody. I think one's going to be a trade.
Well, one could be one of the young kids. They love Benj.
I don't think he's going to start opening day. I'm not watching. Who knows? That's too risky. I don't like that.
Maybe not opening day, but eventually. I don't think it's you can't go. Remember, they have a hole in center field. So now they have a hole in center field and left field. They're going to fill one of them, I would bet, either via trade or free agency. The other one, I wouldn't be shocked if it were filled within from the farm system, because you're just not going to. They also have a hole potentially at third base. And you say McNeil is gone. Now, I hope that that's the case. I'm not so sure. But if he is back, he's back in what his role should be. The first guy off the bench to play a little second, could play a little first, could play some third, could play some outfield. That's what you would want as a. Now, I would trade him, but if he's back, he's not back as an everyday player. There's no world that that's going to be the case. Yeah. Because even right now, if they didn't make another move, Beatty would play the bulk at third, and now your infield is set, assuming that they bring Pete back, by the way, which is a big assumption. But
yeah. Now I don't see this happening. Now, if this did, this would offset for me the enthusiasm of what happened. And that was a stunner. I saw that. I'm like, wow. Not that I never thought it would happen. I wasn't thinking Simeon necessarily, but I mean that was a gutsy, bold move by the Mets. And again, I love them for doing that. It's hard to break up a core, which is why I'm less convinced that Pete's back as you are. But what can happen is, all right, you upgrade second base, and now McNeil stays, and McNeil's your starting left fielder. That can't happen.
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either, but that can't happen.
But here's why I say now, just let's get to two things. Before we get to even the Alonso part of it, although I guess it gets tied in. The other thing that I love about this move is that Cohen did not get involved with the sentimental feel.
Yep,
the Cohen family loved Nimmo, as you should. Nimmo's a great dude. I had the opportunity to interview him. It was one of those. I did the show from the Amazing Day Fan Fest, and we had Nimmo, Beningo, and I had Nimmo on with us, and we talked to him for a while, and he was just high character. And we've heard this stuff for a while, but getting to talk to him on the air, he was open and honest and accountable. And by the way, he had plenty of opportunity, and he never once was an all-star with the Mets. And every year was supposed to be, this is going to be the year, it's going to be an all-star, this is going to be, and it just never happened. So he had opportunity, but such a great guy, high character guy, you could understand why the family loved him. And to have the family approve a trade, which I'm sure was not easy for the Cohens, that shows that they're in the right mindset to build a good baseball team.
Well, and that's why you bring in somebody from a different organization, provided you think that they're a really shrewd and sharp mind, because now the loyalty, and I'm sure Stearns, respects Nimmo, respects his grit, respects his hustle. He didn't draft him. He didn't, he wasn't scouting him in Wyoming, when he was playing summer ball. They didn't even have high school baseball up there. Some of you probably know that. I'm sure many Met fans do. So he doesn't have any attachment to Brandon Nimmo. He came here, and he could be a little callous. And when you try to do something that you haven't done since Run DMC was blasting out of my speakers as a kid, you got to do things like this that are unpopular. And you've got to be willing, in the court of public opinion, for a couple of days to take it on the chin because you believe that's the right move. And that's what's happening here. Now we get to Pete.
Yes.
No, you don't know, I don't know.
Right.
We don't know. But I am of the opinion that since they already did this, they might go all in, and it's a little more probable than not for me today that they are moving on from Pete.
Okay.
Rather than because they got rid of one, now you justify bringing back Pete. I don't feel that way today.
From the sentimental aspect, I could understand why you and maybe others think that, well, if he could get rid of Nimmo, then they're going to get rid of Pete. Forget that for a second. Think baseball.
Okay, let's go.
Do you think that the Nimmo trade made the Mets better or worse offensively?
I think it got them worse offensively.
Correct.
Yeah, power. Yeah, worse.
They cannot afford now to lose. You could argue that they couldn't afford to lose Pete to begin with. They cannot afford to lose his offense now. And that is something when you now have Nimmo out of the equation. And remember all this talk about, well, Soto's going to be DH. Yeah, he might be in 5 years or something like that. It's not anytime soon. Pete's going to be a DH. Nimmo's going to be DH. Now you don't have to worry about Brandon Nimmo. So now, with the luxury, and Pete said he'd be willing to play more DH, with that luxury, you can get a first baseman, part-time first baseman, to help upgrade the defense at first, at least on occasion, and also keep his bat in the lineup. He also could play first base and be a plus first baseman offensively, but they cannot afford now. Forget about the sentimentality and love.
Just baseball. I got you.
They can't
It's all that matters right
afford
now.
to lose his bat. They chose one of those four. To me, it had to be Nimmo or Lindor. And I know Lindor would. Like, they went bold. You know me, I would go even more bold.
Yeah, you said you would have traded Lindor.
Fair enough. But at least I got one. And it's nothing personal. It's just baseball-wise, it had to happen. Now, they also need to acknowledge that the next move that has to happen is bringing Pete back. In addition to upgrading the outfield, which I think that they will. But if they lose Pete's bat now, I'm not opposed to shaking up the core, but harder to replace it. They're not getting Schwarber because he's only a DH. They're not getting. I can't envision that being the case. How are you replacing not only Pete, but Pete and Nimmo's offense.
That's the question. That's the essence of everything we're getting to here. Let's get to it more. So before I give you my answer, and it's a guess, obviously, who do you think's the opening day left fielder for the Mets?
It's a great question.
Because that will then reshape or further shape my answer about Pete.
I think people could keep throwing out Bellinger. I don't think Bellinger's leaving the Yankees. So I don't think he's going to be an option.
Okay, so put him aside.
So not him.
Okay.
I think that there's a chance. Now, again, I got to go over all this stuff, not just the free agents, but also trade possibilities.
Well, the trade, yeah. I mean, I think Simeon will be here.
I think there's a chance they move Juan Soto to left field.
Okay, but then who's playing right?
Well, they're gonna have to get a big time right fielder.
Why not get a big time left fielder?
You could. Who's the guy? I'm saying
Quan?
Either one. Well,
Belly?
okay. Well, if you get
Tucker?
Quan, then maybe it's Soto in right, and I would do that. I just think Quan though is a perfect fit for the Yankees because you have him hitting in front of Judge. Obviously, the defense, leadoff, all those things pertain to the Mets. I think the Yankees actually need him more. The Mets could have a leadoff hitter in Lindor or whatever, however they figure it out. The Yankees have been lacking Quan, but yes, I would be open to Quan. I also think the Mets need a little more power than the Yankees do, so I would be open to. Again, I don't think it's realistic that they get Bellinger because I think Bellinger wants to stay with the Yankees, and I don't think ultimately it's realistic that they go all in for Tucker, but maybe there's an outfielder that they could go poach, whether it be right field or left field, and you could move Soto to left in that particular case. So I don't have a specific answer for you, but I don't think it's just as easy as, okay, Nimmo out, go sign top free.
I don't think it's as easy as maybe it seems in the minds of some, but it doesn't mean you can't get it done. So I would volley back this, and I'll pose it in the form of a question, but I'll give you my answer immediately, so it's more rhetorically. Which Met team would be better on paper on opening day next year? Either Quan and Tucker in left field and Bellinger at first base, or Pete at first base and a similar situation in left field that I just addressed. I'll take the better defender in Bellinger. And by the way,
you're saying you want them to get either Quan or Tucker
for left.
And Bellinger.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that that's realistic.
I don't think that it's unrealistic. I mean, why not? Somebody's going to get Tucker. Somebody's going to get Bellinger. Now, by the way, I do think that Bellinger's inclined to stay with the Yankees. But if you think that Bellinger would be a better night-to-night fit, because, again, sentimentality's out the window. We're talking baseball. And I believe that Bellinger would make the Mets a better buttoned up for the obvious reasons. If he's playing first base over Pete, lack of power, but everything else in his box checking. And then if you do something bold in left field, I think that that's a better Mets team than with Pete back. And I think that they might be thinking that.
I think they need Pete back, and then from there figure out which one of the available outfielders. I don't care if it's a right fielder or a left fielder. Get one of the best available outfielders. Trade, free agency, they need, this is not now a luxury. They now need one of the best available outfielders. They have to determine who that is.
I agree with that.
Now, the one caveat here is we kind of just dismiss and be like, Bellinger wants to be a Yankee. What if the Yankees, who were hot for Tucker last year, I'm going to use a different H word, but the Yankees wanted Tucker last year. What if they revisit that and want to go all in on Tucker this year? There's no room for Tucker and Bellinger. It's one or the other.
Yeah, the Yankees aren't doing that.
And then in that case, if the Yankees land Tucker, which I still think is possible, then maybe the Mets get Bellinger. I think Bellinger would be the perfect fit. We've gone over it many times. He could play center. He could play first. Think about this.
Changes everything for you. If your young center fielder's not ready to start, Bellinger could play center, and then if he's ready, he comes in, Bellinger goes first.
Or you want Pete to DH, Bellinger at first base for a day. You can figure out the outfield. You get Tyrone Taylor a little action, one of the young guys, whatever. Bellinger is such a great fit for multiple teams because he plays multiple important positions. Could give Soto a day off and there's so many. If I could pick one, it'd probably be Bellinger would be the guy that I want. But Alonso's got to be back to me in any equation now, specifically with no more Nimmo. Because if they let Pete go, I can make a case that you need Nimmo to just be the DH and at least keep his bat healthy and in that
Not
lineup.
If you let Vientos be the DH, who can't pick it a third or play the outfield or play first
but he
base.
Can't hit either. I mean, that's part of the problem.
I know. So who's the real Vientos? Is it the guy who was scuffling this year or the guy who looked like an all-star in the postseason 2 years ago? I don't know. Probably somewhere in between.
Point is, BT, this was a great move.
It was fantastic. It was the first move, the first domino that when I saw that, and I guess I tweeted like 5 or 6 days ago, I'm like, and we've talked about this, so I just threw it on social media. We fully expected big changes. I didn't know that Nimmo would be the first one out the door. It is bold. It is proactive. I think it's really smart. Now you've got to do the other things, which I know they are fully willing and chasing to do.
More of your calls when we come back. Nimmo, Giants, whatever it is that's on your mind. 888-808-1009. BT and Sal on the Fan.
All right, Sal, this Thanksgiving, FanDuel's introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together. It's called Pass the Leg. Here's how it works. Start a group build, add your pick, then pass it over to your buddies so they can add theirs as well. When everybody's done, you each lock in the group parlay with your own funds. Football's obviously better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everybody gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. So maybe you start the parlay off with a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. That's a pretty smart bet. And then pass it on to one of your buddies and then see what they do, so on and so forth. Build it up, see what happens. Jump in on the action this Thanksgiving with Pass the Leg. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/BT to get going. That's FanDuel.com/BT. Play your game. We love the app around here. It is safe and secure. And the best part is when you win, if you actually hit one of these parlays, and many of you do, heard Gio saying that he banged one out. I think it was a 3 or 4-legger last night, thanks to the lines, basically. You get paid right away. Of course, the official sportsbook of us here at The Fan, WFAN, 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And for help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
The home of the NFL on Westwood One is WFAN. The Panthers are heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 8:15 tonight on AM 660.
Right down the middle and good.
Monday Night Football is on the Fan, 101.9 FM, and always streaming on the Odyssey app.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great, but I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and 1 blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 or in Mississippi.
Need to sell your house fast? Whether you're facing foreclosure, stuck with bad tenants, or just ready for a fresh start, House Buyer Network can help. We buy homes as is for cash. No fees, no commissions, no repairs. Get a fair cash offer in just 24 hours and close in as little as 7 days. Call 833-719-5877 now for your free no-obligation offer. That's 833-719-5877. House Buyer Network. Fast cash, no hassle.
Offers are typically below market value in exchange for speed and convenience. Call for details.
Football Mondays on The Fan are sponsored by Oxford Health Plans from United Healthcare. Time to pick a health plan for your business? Visit uhc.com/Oxford today.
What's happening, everybody? St. John should be lined up for an amazing season, year 3 with Rick Pitino, and I'm absolutely hyped to talk about the Johnnies here on The Fan. Let's go Red Storm. Sullivan Papain is fueling that fire as an official sponsor of the Red Storm, as our presenting sponsor of the Brandon Tierney Johnnies Report, bringing you every clutch moment on WFAN. One of New York's top personal injury firms and general counsel to the New York City Firefighters Union, Sullivan Papain is New York's team fighting for New Yorkers and our city's bravest with the same heart as the Johnnies, led by Coach Rick Pitino. Talk about winning teams on the court and in the courtroom. Listen up on WFAN with Sullivan Papain and check out triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. New York strong, from the court to the community. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain. That's triallaw1.com, triallaw1.com. And remember the name, Sullivan Papain.
At the 5-yard line, handoff Brees Hall, finds a crease, runs left, he's into the end zone for a Jet touchdown. Jets fans, clear the runway and be at MetLife Stadium for Week 13 as your New York Jets take on the Atlanta Falcons. Sunday, November 30th at 1 p.m., presented by New Jersey Lottery. Join us as we celebrate First Responders Day. Don't miss your chance to be at the game. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
This winter, celebrate the joy of the season in a new all-electric SUV from Cadillac. Make every drive exciting with the innovative technology in Optic. Arrive confidently with the sophisticated styling of Lyric, and discover the comfort of the spacious 3-row Mystic. Experience EV luxury like never before at the season's best sales event. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
BT and Sal back on the Fan. 888-808-1019 is the number to call. Let's get some calls in here. Can't believe it's Thanksgiving week already.
Yeah.
Short work week for us here. I'll be here Wednesday. I know you got to fly to your in-laws in Dallas.
Yeah, heading out to Big D, going to the game.
I
got the tickets.
You're going to the game?
Going to the Chiefs-Cowboys game on Thursday. Oh, yeah.
The whole family? You got, what, 10 people?
Well, I got 4.
That's 4 is your family?
Yes.
But aren't you going to the in-laws?
Yeah.
And?
See you in 5 hours when I get back from the game.
Well, is the plan still to all go together and tailgate?
I don't know. I literally just found out this morning that we've got the tickets, so hopefully they can do something there. And,
that's a them problem.
I don't know if I want to frame it that way, but it's not a me problem. Put it that way.
That's going to be great.
I'm excited. Jen's pumped up too.
So obviously that's Thursday, and by the way, it's a huge week. It's a huge day with the football. There's good matchups on Thanksgiving for a change, and that Cowboys-Chiefs game is even more important now that the Cowboys were able to come back yesterday, and obviously the Chiefs were able to come back and kind of keep their season hanging on by a thread. So that's an enormous football game on Thursday.
Very surprised Kansas City came back and win. Much smaller issue. Every time the Colts lose, that's good for the Jets. Yep. that helps. And can I just tell you, I mean, is there a better uniform than the one the Eagles wore yesterday?
I was actually showing my wife, like, look at that uniform.
It's phenomenal.
She's like, what is it, new? I'm like, well, no, it's old. She wasn't impressed. Forget it. And I don't care. I mean, but yes, I love those
color.
Kelly green unis. And I hate that the Lions were wearing black. I like the
Lions. The Lions helmets were sick yesterday.
I like the traditional. Well, I mean, on Thanksgiving, I'm hoping we get the Honolulu blue.
I think we will.
As I heard Bob Papa describing it. BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1019. Carl Banks got to be happy today, no?
Carl's been a little agitated this year on the tweets and on the air. I mean, Carl's been letting it fly.
But now that
he got his wish, I guess. I think. Chain's out.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Bowen.
Bowen is out. Yeah, he's been potting that for a while. I don't blame him. I mean, I think we all thought that he should have been gone.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Back to the calls here. 888-808-1019. Nimmo trade and the Giants stuff. Johnny in Ocean, New Jersey on Nimmo. What's up, Johnny?
All right. First of all, I just heard you guys say that what they did was a smart move by trading Nimmo. I just want to ask you one thing. Since Stearns has been here, what one trade or move has he made that has been good? And don't say Soto, because that was all Alex Cohen, and I still don't like that.
I got one for you. I mean, first of all, I'm going to give you a couple. Now, he's probably about a C in my book so far, but there's been some good ones. He got Iglesias to a minor league contract. That's one of the reasons he made the playoffs 2 years ago. He signed Minaya, who was phenomenal the final 20 starts. He's done some stuff.
What did Minaya do last year?
I understand. He was hurt, man.
How about Blackburn?
Johnny got hurt,
Johnny, instead of rehashing Stearns' 2-year history, why don't you tell us why you think it's a bad trade?
First of all, you signed a 35-year-old to play second base, right? You have Lindor was 33 years old. If you put Pete at first, he's 31 years old. You just agreed the entire infield. I don't care if you're saying it's a better defensive infield. It's not.
No, it is actually.
Johnny.
It is. Do you know anything about Simeon? If not, we'll educate you. But do you know anything about?
Do.
Okay.
I know Marcus Simeon. I've seen him play. I've
Okay.
seen him play, and I've seen Nimmo play, and I think moving Nimmo was the worst move. Did you hear the Juan Samuel trade?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, listen, unless Nimmo starts taking steroids like Lenny, it's not going to be the same thing. I saw that on social media last night.
Are you guys
that
out of
makes
your
no
mind?
sense,
Look,
Johnny.
Let's check out another point.
Okay, well, can you actually make a good one? Because so far what you've said, not once have I heard anything as
to. The Mets are better today.
Yes, I do.
The Mets are better today.
I do. I absolutely do.
How are they better today?
It paves.
How are they better today?
Johnny, I'll explain it to you if you want to listen for a second. So you know about Simeon. Do you know what he did defensively a year ago?
Won a Gold Glove.
Correct. So now they have a Gold Glove second baseman, an actual second baseman who's a proven offensive player, even on the decline. He still has some potential offensively, but now they have a second baseman, an elite level defensive second baseman, and they free themselves up in the outfield to get better than what Brandon Nimmo was.
All right, who are they going to sign?
Oh, maybe Bellinger, maybe Tucker. Who knows? Maybe they trade for somebody else.
They're not going to sign. You know, Cole will never sign Tucker.
Why not?
Why do you say that, Johnny? He just got Soto.
You think he's going to give up you think he's going to give up a $400 million contract?
Maybe.
Over $400 million.
Just gave up $800.
Maybe.
All right. And how did we address the pitching?
Oh my God!
It's November 20, whatever.
Johnny, you got to get Johnny, and thank you for the call. You got to get a clue and then get back to us. Maybe by December, maybe by the time the Mets add a pitcher, you can find a way to get a clue. I'm fine if you don't like the trade. I'm fine with that. Now, I vehemently disagree with it.
Yeah.
But if you don't like the trade, give me your reasons why. Not, well, who they going to get? Oh, they didn't even get a pitcher yet. It's not. The offseason just getting started here.
It just started. Listen, and again, I know you get this. I get this. I'm going to say it once more. Those who are really disappointed in the trade, I think a lot of that is coming from sentiment, which we all get. But guys, you want to win, dude. You want to win. So I would say this, as I evaluate the trade, which I love for the Mets, and I loved it as soon as I saw it, right? Some of that is based on what actually literally transpired yesterday, but also what my anticipation and expectations are the next couple of moves. And I'm pretty confident the Mets are coming to rattle the cage this offseason, as you and I have said for months.
Exactly.
If not years, actually.
This is not a one-off. First of all, getting rid of Brandon Nimmo, which sounds harsh because I understand how nice of a guy he was, and everybody loved him. And all kidding aside, I liked him too. But I like winning baseball games more. And you can't let that sentiment get in the way of practical thinking. Moving on from Nimmo, period, regardless of what you get back, would have been the right move to make the ball club better. Because you're going to replace him. Like, you're not just going to show up without a left fielder. Oh, who are they going to get? Who are they going to get? They're going to get somebody. They're trying to win. Steve Cohen has told you that. Why you wouldn't trust Cohen and Stearns is beyond me. It doesn't mean that Stearns going to make great moves, but they're going to be aggressive. So moving on from Nimmo, who was and I'm going to say this, not like limited player. That's saying it kindly. You move on from Nimmo, who you had a 5-year commitment. What was it, 6 years?
Five left.
Five-year
and you
commitment.
gave him $5 million, and then,
Right.
obviously, yeah.
5-year commitment to left. And it wasn't expensive, like the $20 million per.
No.
But he's
If he was still the same player, it was a good deal.
He's a player that's going the wrong way and doesn't have a position. He's not a good outfielder. It was a log jam. He was clogging what the Mets can do up. So moving on from him, period, was going to be a plus for the ball club. In addition, okay, would you have signed Simeon to the deal that he's on? No, you probably wouldn't have. But at least you made the commitment shorter in terms of now a 3-year commitment.
Correct.
Plus, you're making second base better. You've eliminated one problem in left field, and you got a position better in second base. Now, you could say, well, they could do better than Simeon. Look around the leagues at some of the top second basemen. I don't even want Jazz, and he puts up monster numbers. Gleyber Torres, the Yankees couldn't wait to get rid of him. He puts up big numbers for a second baseman. So I'm not looking at the offense. I'm going to look at what Simeon is overall, with the potential of the offense and the floor and the elite level Gold Glove. So you upgrade in one trade. You upgraded second base and upgraded the outfield possibilities.
And you get rid of a player who was not nearly on base at the rate that he once was, which was his best characteristic. I mean, the last 2 years he's on base 32% of the time. I mean, that's not good. Not when you're making that money. I would guess, and I would put money on this, that on opening day, the Mets have, you want to look at OPS, you want a nice measurement there, whomever is the opening day left fielder for the Mets, the starter, they're going to have a significantly higher OPS than Nimmo has had the last couple of years, or be an elite defender, contact hitter like Juan. Whomever's there will be better.
Bingo. They're going to be better in at least some aspects, maybe all aspects of it. Mitch is calling from Queens. What's up, Mitch?
Mitch.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I'm back on the Giants. That's okay.
Yeah.
Two things. First, I want to say this out. Decaf coffee. It will add many years to your life.
He doesn't drink coffee. I'm the one who sips coffee during the... He's never had coffee in his life.
No coffee at
drink
all.
it. Then I have no other advice for you.
Mitch, imagine if he was coming up on Wall Street in the 80s doing coke. I mean, he'd be out of his mind, this guy.
I was in Wall Street in the 80s. I know.
Oh, God.
So basically, I build companies, and the Giants and even the Jets, the classic problem I see is that they don't know what the problem is, right? And we needed a quarterback. Daniel Jones, a savior. Dable is going to come in. He's going to coach me. He's the savior. Daniel Jones, he's the problem. Dable, he's the problem. But don't worry, because we have our defense. Defense is going to save us. Now they're the savior. Now they're the problem. And I think it's textbook not knowing what the real problem is. And the only constant over all these long years that we've suffered is the ownership. That is the only constant. And so as I see the problem, and we're never going to have another team, right? We're going to be like Dallas, right? We're going to be like the Jets, who consistently struggle, have great players, but it never gels. It never comes together. And that's because it's not coming from the top, and I think that's what the issue is. Now we see the Mets, right? The owner, he's really involved. That's going to gel. There's no doubt about it. Yankees, not so. Right? Great players, but they're not gelling. They're not coming together.
Yeah, but hold on. But one thing, Mitch, you can't, and I'm with you on the Mets. I'm bullish on the Mets as well. You can't sit here and say that the Mets are gelling when they won 83 games and didn't even make the playoffs, and the Yankees, won 94 and won a round, and they're not gelling. They're not perfect, but that's not fair.
No, I'm saying they have ownership. Right? They have ownership that's really working to make a winning team and looking to make changes and open to ideas. It's the ownership is what I'm saying. It's not necessarily the team, right? And so I think that the Giants, we don't know what the problem is. Now we get rid of the defensive coach. Now we need a new head coach. Now we got to bring in a new general manager. I don't know if those are the problems.
The good news is you don't need a quarterback, Mitch. That's the good news.
Yes, I agree with you, but we felt the same way about Daniel Jones.
Not like this.
And so, but I agree with you. He's great, but we started to use him incorrectly. Right? Now, there's a difference between having a scrambling quarterback and having a running quarterback. I do not believe in this league you can have a running quarterback. You can't design plays around the quarterback running. It's just too dangerous, and we're seeing that now. Having a scrambling quarterback is great because what are you going to do? You can't hold someone in.
As a matter of fact, you need a scrambling quarterback in today's NFL.
Absolutely, Sal, 100%. And so once we start designing plays right around the quarterback, he could be hurt. We don't know what's going on, and that's the other thing is we really don't know the health of these players, right? And especially Daniel Dart, which is so critical right now. And if you have a great quarterback, absolutely. Yeah. But I really don't think we can play him the same way we're playing him, right? But I do think that we really don't know what the problem is. And, yes, we have a great quarterback. Beautiful. We have actually a great backup quarterback, too. I mean, how often does that happen if we can keep him?
But also, right? Mitch.
Come on, listen.
Mitch, it seems like you need some decaf, and we appreciate the call.
Mitch was going.
Love it.
Mitch was on a roll.
We appreciate the passion and you taking the time to call here. I need to see what Kafka and Dart can do together. I'm very curious to see what that offense will look like. I'm assuming Dart's going to be cleared now. Maybe it's a big assumption. We shouldn't make that, but I would assume by Monday night.
I would think so.
Well, if he was close this week.
I would think so.
And then that's an evaluation that can take place from the ownership stuff. And you're talking about, well, that's the one constant. Well, also with that, we need to wait and see what happens over the course of the next several months here as it pertains to the health of Mr. Mara. We don't know. So he's been the one guy who's been making the football decisions for a very long time. Let's just see what happens over the course of the next, hopefully, God willing, he gets better and everything is okay, and then we can go from there. But even that right now, I would say, is uncertain what's going on.
Yeah, and listen, if you guys are new to the show or you didn't hear it, there's just a level of sensitivity from this show, from the station, for that situation. So it is what it is. We know that. Obviously, I agree with what Sal just said, the other stuff about the Giants ownership. But Mitch was a good call, really good call, but it was really a massive contradiction because he said a million times, we don't know what the problem is. But then he talked about ownership. And that has been a bit of a thread here that the Giants obviously need to sort through, as we obviously know. 888-808-1019. Speak to Sal on the Fan. Think about that, though. They have a really good starter, and they got a really good backup. I mean, and yet they're a mess. They got 2 wins. All right, we'll get to the Nimmo stuff, more on that. Get back to the Coles Giant stuff as well. Hey, Total Orthopedics, Long Island's premier immediate orthopedic practice. So whether it's a sports-related injury or something a little more complex, Total Ortho has locations throughout Long Island with diagnostic equipment right on site. Now they offer 4 convenient walk-in services, no appointment necessary, from the field or sports court straight to a top-rated walk-in orthopedic doctor. All you have to do is visit TotalOrthoExpress.com. That's TotalOrthoExpress.com, because time doesn't heal wounds. They do. Let's get to the Sports Minute. Odyssey Sports Minute, brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety. Make the right choice. Don't drive impaired.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Cleveland rookie Shedeur Sanders picked up his first NFL win in a 24-10 rout of the Raiders, and Shedeur showed real promise. But the real star of the game, the Browns' defense. And now here's the real question. The better Shedeur plays, does he actually become trade bait? With 2 first-round picks coming and a likely shot at a top quarterback, the Browns may soon have a valuable asset on their hands. I'm Maggie Gray.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Black Friday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Want the best deal on Bridgestone winter tires? Get to Town Fair Tire and get Bridgestone tires at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, you get more free services than anywhere else. When you combine Town Fair's guaranteed lowest price with the most free services, you get the guaranteed best deals anywhere on your Bridgestone winter tires. Because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. And you know we mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
You know by now that you can count on Sundays all season long. And this Thanksgiving, you can count on seconds with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. This year's main course features Dak Prescott and the Cowboys hosting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bet365 is paying out before the final whistle.
Check out Bet3.
At Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply.
Becoming partly cloudy and breezy. High 52.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have an easy holiday at Staples. Save on top tech and gaming gifts, shipping supplies and services to get your packages there safely. Even custom cards and wrapping paper. Staples. That was easy.
Like most car buyers, you want to get the most for your money. That's why more Mazda buyers choose Ramsey Mazda. Get an impressive offer on a new Mazda CX-5 starting at $28,319 during the More to Move You sales event. Over 1,000 new Mazda vehicles to choose from. Visit RamseyMazda.com. Get the most for your money at Ramsey Mazda. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda.
Beware the holiday buffering.
Who are you?
The ghost of internet past here to slow down right when your guests arrive.
Not this year. We got Verizon's 100% fiber optic home internet. Scored a limited time offer for $20 a month and locked in the price for 3 years.
Fios home internet, that's scary fast.
Now we can all stream, video chat, and game at the same time. So bye.
Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch to Fios home internet today. Fios 300 megabits per second plan at $20 a month with autopay. Any Verizon mobile phone plan and bonus discount. Price guarantee applies to base monthly rate only for my home customers. Terms apply.
For over 100 years, Sloman's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, they deliver more than just quality fuel. They deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, and 24/7 service, their dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Sloman's, the Tri-State's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving their community for generations. Give them a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomans.com.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan.
BT and Sal back on the Fan. 888-808-1009, the number to call. Just talking about what we watched this week. I was watching. You finally saw the A-Rod doc.
Yeah, finally figured out the remote here. I mean, I didn't, but somebody in the house finally figured things out. All three. We binged a little bit. We finished up late last night.
So was it as good as I said that it was? Did you learn from it, or you knew a lot of that stuff?
I obviously knew most of it, but it was a while ago now. Right. Really a while ago. And, what I take away is, and I've always thought this, and I thought Mike really hit this when he was talking about A-Rod. He's a good guy. He just couldn't figure it out. Like, he got in his own way. And there's certain people that are part of our sporting culture that you're like, man, I just don't know about this guy. I never felt that with Alex. I always had a soft spot for Alex, and it always bothered me that he complicated his whole world. Like,
I know.
And now you know why. That was very interesting. I think he's a good person. I appreciate him being forthright. He was a phenomenal player. It was well done.
I'm all into docs right now, so I watched that one, and then we were watching the BTK.
Yeah, I never even heard of that. What you guys were talking? Some killer?
Yeah, dude.
I don't like that stuff. I don't like the killers.
There was another one too that I was watching.
Like
it was the one about a kid who they accused him of taking his mother out on a boat. It was actually like by Block Island. You know that one too, Hoff, that I'm talking about?
Just watching
Nathan,
the
Carmen family. The Carmen family killer or something like that. Yeah, I don't know why I watched it. My wife's like, you want to watch something else? I was like, you know what? I'm kind of into this now.
It's fun.
It's better to me than, and this is me saying, like, I love comedies. I have a hard time getting into it now. I'm desensitized to.
You don't laugh anymore?
No, but the shows, like, just, if you get involved in a thriller or suspense or documentary about serious stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that at this
now
point.
my level of tolerance has gone up to where, okay, I'm going to watch a comedy about Ted Danson. There's a one on Netflix that people are into, which I might want to watch, but it's just...
It's a comedy, or it's like a reflection of Cheers at his life? You know what we started watching? You hear The Perfect Couple with Nicole Kidman? Have you watched that yet?
Yes, we saw that. Love that
Really good. We got into that as well. We banged that out very fast.
Those type movies. The one with Claire Danes, as we just said, is on Netflix.
You mentioned that. I did not,
Same type thing.
did not see that yet.
The Who Did It drama, those type things. Anyway, BT and Sal on the Fan, 888-808-1009, the number to call. Steve is calling from East Meadow about Nimmo. What's up, Steve?
Guys, what's going on? Great show as usual.
Thanks, Steve. What's going on, bud?
I don't know why these Mets fans are crying over Nimmo leaving. This makes the team so much better. A lot of negative stuff came out this week about him with the stuff he had in the locker room going on. I think, at the end of the day, he okayed the trade. So he wanted to leave at the end of the day. This opens up left field dramatically. It saved us about $30 million over his contract. We're not locked in for him for 5 years. And at the end of the day, Simeon is a Gold Glove second baseman. He's a World Series champ. How many Gold Gloves does Brandon Nimmo have?
None.
Yeah, no All-Star appearances.
This makes the team so much better. I'm going to start crying about not winning the World Series, not trading guys away. This is ridiculous. This makes the team so much better. I don't know why people are so upset about this. This is so much better for the Mets.
Because they're not paying attention. And thank you for the call, Steve. They're just, your point, BT, was right about the sentiment behind Nimmo, but also they're just not paying attention. They look at the numbers and say, oh, Simeon offensively, he stinks. And forget the money, but the years committed to Nimmo was a problem because what were you going to do with a player who's already declining? Mm-hmm. Imagine how in 3 years how it's going to look, let alone 5 years. You would have had to have cut bait with him anyway in a couple years. So, and now you're trading him at a point where you could actually get something back for him in Simeon that can be a useful piece, whereas he might not have that same value. I think he's going to decline rapidly.
I do too.
He just got that body.
And by the way, so everything that you just said, I'm with you, and they also get some more financial room down the road, which is what the caller also said. Listen, it's very, very easy. There's the emotional reaction. There's the pragmatic reaction. Emotionally, a lot of Met fans are distressed. You're going to have to get over it, and you will. And I think you'll like the team better this year, all right? Pragmatically, Met fans immediately said, we'll be better.
Yeah, and this is not the end. There's a whole offseason to go. It's the beginning. This is the beginning of what needed to happen to clean up a little bit of the mess. Now you have a second baseman. Now you have an outfield spot open. That is what they needed. Not to mention all the pitching and moves that they're going to make there. All right, BT itself.
Real quick, though, because the caller brought up and I think he threw a little bit too much gas on it, where he said something like, it's been whatever he said about
Met fans crying over it.
No, about Nimmo and how last week was a rough week and he was pulled. He's talking about the Ottavino stuff. Yeah. Just so if people don't really know where that's coming from, Ottavino was talking about, maybe Nimmo was a little turned off by the thought that Lindor was going to be the captain. Obviously, he fancies himself a leader. That's my insertion, not Ottavino's necessarily. Yeah, I got you. And the fact that the last couple of years, starting on this show with you, all right, I never really disagreed. And we got pounded for this. On this show, on this station, we wondered the chemistry, the fit, the direction, the DNA of the clubhouse. And a lot of you resented that. And we admitted we couldn't quite pinpoint it. It was like there were some generalities among strong opinions. But is Pete aloof? Is Lindor selfish? Is Nimmo the problem? Like, Maybe in an unexpected way, maybe Nimmo was more of an issue than we thought. Because to consent to being traded when he's got a no trade after some of the stuff Ottavino said, and I like the guy, I know he's a good dude, but good people could run their course at a certain spot.
Or maybe he saw a different issue
and he wanted to get out.
Correct.
It's possible. I mean, it could be that.
I think that's more likely than not.
I would still go the other way, but either way, whichever one it is, it's very likely one of the two, which spoke to the importance of the Mets changing up their roster.
Yeah,
really?
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't look too deep into the clubhouse chemistry and all that stuff. He was a leader. I think more of a leader. Like if I had to make a captain, Nimmo would have been my guy over Lindor. I'm just being honest with you. Based on a lot of the stuff that I've heard about, now you could hear about Nimmo being upset with that. Okay, fair enough. I think the two of those guys for maybe a couple years ago were maybe like the co-captains. There was a thought that Pete could have been a captain years ago. That obviously was not ever going to be the case. But there have been reported issues. I didn't want to go down that road because Met fans are sensitive to begin with, especially on a day where Nimmo got traded. But I don't think it's because Nimmo was a bad guy or an issue in the clubhouse whatsoever. But clearly the dynamic was not what it needed to be. I don't think that this solves that. I still think they have other issues that they need to figure it out. But by the way, Simeon's a good clubhouse guy.
Yes, he
comes in and shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, and really, and we said this before, but it's worth repeating. It took somebody like Stearns, who was not married emotionally to Nimmo or maybe even Pete at this point, to make that kind of emotionless decision, which ultimately will be the right move for the Mets.
BT and Sal on the Fan. More your calls when we come back. Reset down with the king topic of the day, both the Brandon Nimmo trade and the Giants firing Shane Bowen.
It's Boomer and Gio. Mornings on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Being on a bad team really sucks. It really does. But if they're going to look like that, and they're going to have fun doing it, I mean, I give them all the credit in the world. I give Kafka all the credit in the world for calling some of these plays.
So you know who agrees with you with the field goal is Malik Neighbors, who posted and quickly deleted his thoughts.
Yeah, because he wants to win.
Listen to Boomer and Gio on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This Thanksgiving, FanDuel is introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together, and it's called Pass the Leg. And here's how it works. Start a group build and add your pick, then pass it on to your friends so they can add theirs. When everyone's done, you each lock in a group parlay with your own funds, because football is better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everyone gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you'll start your parlay off with the Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown and then pass it on to one of your friends. So grab your crew, start your build, and get in on all the action this Thanksgiving with Pass the Leg. Visit FanDuel.com/Boomer to get started today. FanDuel, play your game. We all love the app around here, and it's safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN.
21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with the gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Embrace the spirit of the season during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration and make dreams come true at Mercedes-Benz of Edison. With over 500 vehicles to choose from, you'll find the perfect holiday gift for the one you love. Celebrate the season in true luxury at Mercedes-Benz of Edison.
Makita knows that pros never settle, and neither do we. With Makita, you get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly engineered to deliver precision, job after job. When your work calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You can always count on Thanksgiving football with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What a catch! Touchdown!
And this year's main course is in Big D when the Cowboys host the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Football season is here, and just like winning teams, your engagement should be all about the best. So if you're ready to pop the big question this season, why not visit the experts at London Jewelers? With top-notch professionals and cutting-edge technology, London Jewelers can help you select or even design the absolute perfect ring. So whether you're starting over or starting new, let the professionals at London Jewelers be a part of your journey. Visit any one of their convenient 6 locations across New York and New Jersey. London Jewelers, serving you and your family since 1926.
At the United Healthcare Medicare store, right here in Jackson Heights, you can chat face-to-face with a licensed sales agent who understands the community and get clear answers to your questions. We're located at 3752 82nd Street between Roosevelt and 37th Ave. We're ready to help.
It's the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event. So don't just hang your own lights. Venture out and look for the northern lights. Drink cocoa on the beach. Or be a drive-by karaoke caroler. Because every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So you can take holidays to places they've never been. See your local Kia dealer or visit kia.com to learn more. Kia, movement that inspires.
See Kia dealer for warranty details. Event ends 12/1/25.
My man, Dr. Jay Shah, specializing in minimally invasive and non-surgical treatments for neck, back, and sciatica, migraines, and so much more, offers pain-relieving solutions. There are thousands of 5 5-star reviews who trust Samwell Pain for all their aches and pains. Visit SamwellPain.com.
Wake up with Boomer and Geo. Mornings 6 to 10 on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
WFAN Sports Flash.
Good afternoon at 12:03. I'm Andrew Bogish. Your Sports Flash is sponsored by Chef IQ, precision cooking, effortless results, chefiq.com. By Dr. J. Schott, Samwell Pain Management, visit samwellpain.com. And by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. The Giants didn't fire Shane Bowen earlier this season. They didn't let go of their defensive coordinator when divorcing Brian Dable, and Bowen survived that Packer loss, but not yesterday's collapse in Detroit. Mike Kafka firing Bowen this morning.
When I got the job, quickly, I didn't want to make a lot of rash decisions and jump to anything really quick. I wanted to have some time to sit back, evaluate it, look at it, and kind of figure out what the best thing to do was. So, wanted to be calculated in how I handled it, and I thought that today was the right time.
The interim coach saying the decision was his alone. He made it after reviewing game film. He also made it after saying post-game yesterday he had plenty of confidence still in Bowen and his staff. Outside linebackers coach Charlie Bullen is the interim replacement. The Giants' next game is next Monday night. Tonight, it's the Niners hosting the Panthers. Westwood One coverage beginning at 7:20 on 660 AM because of Nets basketball. On the AM side later this hour, Rutgers meets number 20 Tennessee at the Player Era Festival in Vegas. And the Brandon Nimmo trade is now official. David Stearns about to discuss it with reporters. Fan weather is sponsored by the United Healthcare Medicare store in Jackson Heights. It's 51 and sunny in Central Park, and that's what's happening. Sports flashes, top of every hour. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn.
Salicata back on the Fan down with the King topic of the day, and really it's a dueling Kings, where we have the Mets making a big trade with Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien. It became official today. We'll hear from David Stearns in just a little bit. Hoff will get us all that sound from Stearns addressing the media on why he made the trade. I would assume we get some good answers there. And then BT, not only the Giants losing a game in similar fashion to what we've seen all year long, but also making the change at defensive coordinator, the long-awaited change that everybody's been looking for. Shane Bowen finally out for the Giants.
I really can't think of, I'm sure there may have been one that I'm just mentally omitting, but has there ever been such a calling for somebody to get fired where it just didn't happen for as long as it didn't happen for? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just again just kind of glossing over something that's fairly recent. Whatever. Point is, it had to happen. I am looking forward to hearing from Stearns. It's a big trade. It's a big moment for the Mets organization. So we'll play some of that back, as Sal said. But pertaining to the Giants, the DC was not going to be back next year. Everybody on the planet knows that. And I do give Kafka credit for, rather than caving into the masses with the pitchforks and whacking them right away, I think he did what a smart adult does. He walks into a situation, he evaluates it for himself, and then he makes a decision.
WFAN NFL football powered by Verizon. Get your local Verizon store today. So Stearns is addressing the media right now. Here's the first cut for you. Stearns talking about saying goodbye to a beloved Met and Brandon Nimmo.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for hopping on. I'll start by just thanking Brandon and his family for an incredible career with the Mets. From the moment the Mets drafted Brandon, he did everything right here. He represented the organization exceptionally well on and off the field. And really was a great Met. We wish Brandon and his entire family nothing but the best as they embark on the next phase of Brandon's career with the Texas Rangers. We're also really excited to add Marcus Semien to our organization. Marcus brings an elite level of defense. He's one of the best defensive infielders in baseball and has been for a number of years. He's a winner. He brings a winning drive and determination that we think is going to fit well in our clubhouse. And he balances our lineup from the right side, which is something we were seeking to do. So very happy to be able to bring Marcus in. And beyond the immediate player return part of this deal, we think this opens up possibilities and flexibility for us going forward, both from a near-term perspective and also allowing space for a number of very young outfielders who are coming, who are talented and will deserve spots at the major league level and to play at the major league level. And this transaction also provides room for that to happen as we move forward. So these are always tough decisions. This was not easy. Everyone here thinks very highly of Brandon. But in order to create the type of sustainable championship caliber play that we seek to have here, at times these types of decisions are necessary.
Amen.
Perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Perfect.
I mean, God bless.
Really. He did the right thing. He spoke from the heart right away about Brandon and the Nimmo family. And I'm just looking at this like Mets games played all time. Obviously, they don't have the history of some of the other teams that have been around forever. They were born in the early 60s, as you know. But, think about some of these names, right? Whether it's Backman, whether it's Todd Hundley, whether it's Beltran, whether it's Keith, whether it's Wayne Garrett, if you're old enough, Murph, Ordonez, who you love, Rusty Staub, Piazza. Brandon Nimmo played more games than Mazzilli, who came up, Brooklyn-born, was with the Mets as a kid. Nimmo played more games with the Mets than all those people that I just mentioned. He's played a lot of games here. And I was looking, I'm just geeking out for a second, but I went to his Baseball Cube page, which gives you all the minor league stats too. Like the amount of time from 2011 to 2025 to be part of the Mets family, you don't take it lightly, but the objective is to win. And the money part of that from Stearns was now it opens up possibilities for us to do other things.
Yeah, there are 4 or 5 different things that this one move does. Open up the outfield for whether the young kids finding a space, potential free agent or trade, making them better defensively, right-handed, which I'm not going to go nuts about yet because they still have to build out a team, but they were looking to get more right-handed with the bunch of infielders, a lot of them lefties. The guy's a winner, as he said with Semien, great elite defensive player. This is a home run for the Mets. Let go of the emotions and get involved in what should be a better ball club now. All right, here's more from David Stearns.
Can you just walk us through the timeline of how this came about from conception, like whose idea it was at first, and all the way through to, I'd be curious to hear about your thoughts presenting it to Nimmo, who obviously had to clear it.
Yeah, this is something that really probably gained steam last week after the GM meetings. I think throughout the offseason, Texas had looked at Nimmo as a very attractive fit for them, and we had looked at Semien as a potentially really good fit for us, but we didn't really line up and really start making progress on this. I think until towards the tail end of the GM meetings into last week. These are difficult deals to put together. You're talking about 2 very established players. You're talking about 2 players who are embedded in their organizations, who have had success there. And clearly in Brandon's case, you're talking about a player with no trade protection. I'm going to keep the specifics of the conversation with Brandon, I think, between the 2 of us, but Brandon's a pro. He's the ultimate pro. He was very respectful, considerate, and considered, I think, throughout this process. He took time to digest everything, took time to speak with his representation, took time to speak with his family to determine what was best, and ultimately he decided to accept the trade.
Brandon was obviously not just a longtime player here, but a fan favorite. You've alluded to this a couple of times already, but to what extent or how much do you weigh those sorts of things versus just a pure baseball decision in these matters?
Yeah, it was something we had to think about, no question, both in terms of fan reality and the fan relationship with Brandon, but also we have real relationships with Brandon, and our players have real relationships with Brandon. Coaches do, front office does. And so that is a part of this. And that certainly makes decisions like this a little bit more challenging than they otherwise would be. But at the end of the day, I still felt like this was the right decision for the organization.
Yeah, and it is. And anybody can make the easy decisions. Oh, well, go sign Bellinger, go sign Soto.
Yeah, trade for Skubal.
These are the decisions that separate the men from the boys. And David Stern showing the ability to separate from a great guy in Brandon Nimmo. It's okay to say, hey, you're a great person, high character individual, done a lot of good for this organization. Also, we believe we could be a better team without you here. There's no harm in that.
It's the reality of life pertaining to everything. You know what's funny? The question was really good. It was something that I would have really liked to hear an honest answer for. Now, that's not a knock at Stearns. You're not going to be as forthright as we would like you to. And what I mean by that is, he said, well, Texas liked Nimmo and we had interest in Simeon. I get that. Clearly, you guys consummated a trade. Who approached whom first? I just for myself, I would like to know.
He said
it came up at the winter meetings.
Well, he said Texas showed some interest.
But then he said we also had interest in Simeon.
Yeah.
So to me, I took that as almost like, being a little evasive, which by the way is smart to do. You don't need to get into the semantics and tell us what exactly happened. Well, the only reason I asked that though is because now Nimmo seemed to handle this very well. But what if Nimmo turned it down? What if he turned it down and that story gets out, which at some point it would have? You would have had a mess on your hands.
Yeah, I wonder what you do in that spot.
I don't know. And then you have to find a different suitor, or you've got to do something to try to make amends with that. And that's the risk of business. But it's also the Mets knowing Nimmo, knowing his personality, knowing he wouldn't cause a big stink, even if he opposed it and wasn't going to contractually give them or relinquish the no trade thing. Their instincts were rewarded. And I also think, sometimes you can tell when it's time for change, and maybe the Mets felt like, from Nimmo's point of view, not just theirs, to build a better team, but maybe they thought, hey, maybe it's time that he kind of wants out as well, for maybe some signs that we didn't see behind closed doors.
Let's listen to more from David Stearns on trading Brandon Nimmo.
Hey, David. Just when you talk about wanting to give young players a chance to play and have those avenues opened up, how do you kind of square acquiring a 35-year-old at a position where you have these young players who are available and who are maybe, if not already ready to contribute, a year or so away from doing so?
Simple. He's better.
I think the good thing about the players who maybe have played second base for us over the past couple of years, who are a little bit younger or who may becoming or infielders, there's a ton of positional versatility with all of them. So whether that's Acuna or Jet Williams or Ronnie Mauricio, we have a high degree of confidence that all of these guys can play multiple positions and can play them at a high level. And so we don't look at the Simeon acquisition as necessarily blocking anyone from continuing their progression.
And just how much did you, I guess, wanting to change the clubhouse dynamics, did that play a role into this trade at all?
I don't know if it's necessarily wanting to change the clubhouse dynamics. I think it's a recognition that what we did last year wasn't good enough. And running back the exact same group wasn't the right thing to do. And so as we went into this, we believed and still believe that we have to be open to anything. That we shouldn't be in a spot to take anything off the table. And ultimately, if we're able to put transactions together that we think make sense for the team, both now and in the future, that we have to consider them regardless of what names may be involved.
Hey, David, Simeon is obviously coming off of a down year at the plate. Given his age, it points to an obvious decline. Just what makes you believe that he can rebound offensively?
Yeah, I think there's still some underlying aspects of what he does that are encouraging for us offensively. I also think it's notable that this is a player that can contribute to winning baseball in a variety of different ways. And the bat may not actually lead the way at this point in his career. We think there's likely some bounce back in his offensive profile and his offensive game. But what we're counting on at the top of his skill set is the contributions he can make for us defensively, how he can perform on the bases, and we think those are going to help us win games.
Yeah, and then you have alluded to it a little bit. What are those intangibles from Simeon in terms of winning drive, leadership, his high character? What did you like there about him?
I think as we really began to dig in on who this person was, talk to his former teammates, former coaches, people who have been around him, this is someone who takes his craft incredibly seriously. Someone who does everything he can on a regular basis to get in the lineup, to perform at a high level, practices hard and holds those expectations of his teammates as well. And I think that's going to fit in very well for our group.
And that is why you make this trade. And that is why David Stearns had so much success in Milwaukee. Look at the Brewers team. Look at how those guys play the game. This is not a knock on Nimmo or anybody else that's been here before. Stearns has yet to really put his fingerprints on this team. It's hard to do that as a GM or president in just 2+ seasons. And now this offseason, maybe the most pivotal in his tenure with the Mets here, they're going to have success. He's finally going to have a chance to clean up some of the moves that were made before he got here and put his imprint on this team with guys like that. Tyrone Taylor, one of the players that he brought in. And at the time, he was an afterthought because it was all about Hauser. Adrian Hauser was the pitcher that they brought back. Look at the way Tyrone Taylor plays. He's not the highest level of skill, but he's a ball player, a dirt dog, a guy who's going to wreck his body to make an out, to catch the ball in center field, a grinder, a gamer. That's what you're getting with Simeon, obviously a guy who's getting older and maybe on the decline offensively, but those type of players, BT, you talk about this all the time, help you win games in more ways than just putting the bat on the ball.
It's one of the many reasons why I like this move here for the Mets. And I thought Stearns was a very honest assessment of where Simeon is right now. He even said, hey, listen, at this point, his bat's probably not going to play the way it once did. You know, his bat's probably behind some of the other things that he's going to bring to the table, and we know what that is. That's, speed and defense and, keeping the ball in the infield when you're up a run, turn two, making the plays, making the throws, pop-ups down the right field line, helping Pete out, who's not very quick. If Pete's back, going to get them, and Soto's not a burner out there either. Those little shallow bloops. Trust me, you guys are going to love Simeon once you get over the Nimmo thing. And the other thing, too, is it was very hard. Because you're right, this is his first true stamp. Soto was bought for. The other stuff, emotionally, even with Pete last year, probably, we think that was a Cohen thing.
Even the pitching was like a year, 2 years. It wasn't no major moves.
Well, think about the 4 best players that he inherited. Your first baseman, your left fielder, your shortstop, and your closer. Those were all long contracts that you stepped into. Now, the Pete stuff, just based on the expiration point, they're dealing with that now. They dealt with it a year ago. We'll see where it goes. Left field, he's gone. Shortstop, better than Nimmo, obviously. Much less desirable contract to trade. So what was the logical thing to try to shift right now? It was left field.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We'll take a quick break, come back with more from David Stearns on the other side. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
All right, Sal. Operating engineers local 825 are the men and women who make our region move, whether it's roads, bridges, or our favorite team stadium. They build and maintain critical transportation, water, and energy infrastructure that we all rely on. That's why their advocacy organization, ELEC, the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, fights for those priorities every single day. That's ELEC, representing the signatory contractors and the hardworking men and women who build New York and New Jersey.
The Knicks take the downtown D train to Barclays to take on the Nets. 7:30 tonight. The home of Brooklyn Nets basketball is The Fan. 101.9 FM and always streaming on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio app.
This Thanksgiving, FanDuel is introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together. It's called Pass the Leg. Here's how it works. Start a group build, add your pick, then pass it to your friends so they can add theirs. When everyone's done, you each lock in the group parlay with your own funds. Because football is better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everyone gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you'll start your parlay off with a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown and then pass it to one of your friends. So grab your crew, start your build, and get in on the action this Thanksgiving with Pass the Leg. Visit FanDuel.com/GO. That's GIO to get started. FanDuel, play your game. We just love the app around here. It's safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with the gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
You know by now that you can count on Sundays all season long. And this Thanksgiving, you can count on seconds with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. This year's main course features Dak Prescott and the Cowboys hosting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
It's time for Black Friday, Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. Enjoy the lowest prices of the year on select PCs like the Dell 16 Plus, featuring Intel Core Ultra processors. And with built-in advanced features, it's the PC that helps you do more, faster. Plus, earn Dell rewards and enjoy many other benefits, like free shipping, price match guarantee, and expert support. They also have huge deals on accessories that pair perfectly with your Dell PC and make perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Sunday no longer a fun day? We've got specialists for that. Walking the dog, unleash, knee pain? We've got specialists for that. With 45 Castle Connolly top doctors, Orland & Cohen specialists are considered among the best in the nation by their peers, which can mean a better outcome for you. From Staten Island to Southampton, our network is open 7 days a week, so you can feel better, faster. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
We've got more sports talk coming up on The Fan.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmitt Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 25 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shields Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 sold in Mississippi.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
Tune into the BT and Sal Show weekdays from 10 to 2 on The Fan. Presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Cadillac is the official luxury vehicle of the New York Giants.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Head to SNY for all the latest offseason news and rumors.
A very busy and a very important offseason for the Mets.
With insider opinion.
What's your take on the deal?
And exclusive access.
Get it going here with Carlos Mendoza.
On Mets Hot Stove, Wednesdays at 6:30, only on SNY.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, The Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
BT and Sal back on The Fan. We'll get back to your calls here in a little bit, but right now we're going to continue listening on the Zoom call conference that President of Baseball Operations for the Mets, David Stearns, has. So far, so good, BT. Love what we're hearing from David Stearns. Let's hear more on some of the questions the media is asking about the trade of Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien.
Hey, David. Obviously, you have a second baseman who's been there for a while in Jeff McNeil. Kind of where do you view McNeil fitting into your roster at this point in time now with Semien on board?
I think Jeff, by virtue of his positional versatility, still has the ability to impact our team in a variety of ways. What exactly that's going to look like is probably going to have to wait until we watch the rest of the offseason unfold. But certainly his ability to play corner outfield is a help. There may still be days if Semien needs a blow where he's playing some second base. We may ask Jeff to play some first base, depending on how the offseason pans out. I talked to Jeff yesterday. He understands where we're headed. I think he wants to be a part of this, and he understands his positional versatility is a real asset for us.
And you mentioned at one point that running it back from last year was not the right thing to do. At what point during that slide over the final couple months of the season did you, as a front office, come to that conclusion that you would need to do maybe more changes than you had initially thought? And is this enough of a change in your mind, or is there more to come?
So I think when you're in the moment in going through a playoff push, you're focused on the day-to-day. You're focused on trying to do everything you can to win that day. And there's off-season preparation going on, but there's probably not that time for real reflection on how the team is performing at that moment. So I think once we got into the off-season and had the time to fully reflect on our team is when I became convinced that we weren't just going to run it back, that we were going to make some changes. You're never sure which changes are actually going to occur, which changes are actually going to be possible, and that's still the case as we move forward. I don't know what the next transaction is right now, but I know we're going to keep going in the offseason. I'm very confident we're going to have a productive offseason.
Yeah, and I'm very confident in him. I don't know how you can't listen to everything he said so far today. And what maybe, BT, is one of the more transparent interviews from Stearns. Usually it's a lot of, well, I don't know, we'll wait and see, this and that. This was a clear move with conviction and direction. It was a necessary, difficult, but necessary move. I don't know how you can't listen to anything we've heard so far, and we'll hear more from Stearns, but I don't know how you can't listen to that and feel confident about the direction of the Mets.
Well, I also think there was a chance that he maybe wanted to break up this core a year ago, but to do that, the timing's got to line itself up here. And maybe they had some very exploratory conversations, people that he trusts where he knew wouldn't get out. And there was nothing there in terms of who would want whatever he was willing to give up, what he could get back. So maybe it just presented itself as a good opportunity. And here you go. Nimmo's gone. Maybe McNeil, maybe others. We'll see what happens. I think that you should like what you've heard from Stearns, but really it's what you do. So the first year was good. The second year was not. And this is the year that Stearns has to distinguish himself. Now, I think it's a good step forward, moving on from a player that I would have probably moved on from as well. But the work is just starting. And I think everybody understands that. But a lot of work to do here.
Understood, but he's ready to do it. I mean, when I hear him say exactly what I was thinking, and that they can't run it back. There was a thought from a lot of people, well, just add pitching. Keep the core four intact, and Nimmo and Alonso and Lindor and Soto, keep them intact, and just add pitching. No, that's the wrong thought process. So for Stearns to acknowledge that basically right away after the offseason when they evaluate everything, nope, we can't run it back. That's the wrong thing to do. That is right. Now, will he make the right moves, all the right moves moving forward? No.
I don't think anybody makes all the right moves.
That's the point. But this, to me, was a crucial first step. You could not run it back, and they didn't. Nobody thought they were going to be able to trade Nimmo, and they did. Not only did they trade Nimmo, they got better defensively at second base, and now they have some options. They're going to have to spend. They're going to have to dip into the farm system. They're going to have to make some trades. Like there's a lot more to be done here, but this was a huge first domino to fall for them.
Well, to me, it shows that like the transformation is underway in terms of thought process, and before you do something like this, you've got to get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm going to get knocked around a little bit. I used the term before, court of public opinion, and a lot of Met fans aren't happy, and they understand that, and Stearns doesn't care. That's not his job to care. His job is to build you a World Series champion. So I feel like there's been an awakening within the Mets organization, a realization that they got to change things up. Now, so check.
Which, by the way, might have been difficult for him to do in year two because they won in 2024. So even though it was his second year, and he's probably eyeing everybody like, not this guy, we need to change there. Can't do it after they get to the NLCS in 2024.
It's not exactly the same, but is it incredibly dissimilar from Kafka? We all know, we all would have fired the DC immediately, but Kafka came in and said, let me at least see if I can work with this guy. And he didn't, and he couldn't. And then, of course, now, as we know, he's made the move. But yeah, I think smart people come in, they assess, and they don't rely on other people to tell them what you're inheriting or what so-and-so is and who they are. Use your own eyes and use your sporting instincts to determine yourself. And that's what he's doing. So that's a big check in his column, like an awakening, this transformational thought process. Check. Now, the next thing I want to see, because the money's always good, whether it's Tucker, that's Cohen, Soto, Cohen, Pete, Cohen. But now the next thing I want to see is how married is he to the prospects? Because there's going to be a deal, whether it's a schoolball, I don't think Skeens yet, but there will be trades that he will either say, okay, I'm getting rid of everybody to get this guy, or I'm reluctant. That's the next source of evaluation.
Well, let's listen to some more from Mets president David Stearns.
Hi, David. How do you foresee the outfield alignment shaping up, and does this increase your appetite to go after a sort of higher profile free agent outfielder, or do you still feel like there are internal options that you can kind of plug those holes with?
I think it would be too early for me to really determine how our outfield alignment's gonna shape up. Look, we clearly we've got Juan, Tyrone Taylor's back with us. We're very excited. We've got a number of young outfielders, including Carson Bench, who we think are going to contribute at the major league level over the course of next year. As I mentioned, we think Jeff is a contributor at the major league level in the outfield next year. Jet Williams has seen some outfield time. And we believe can play well there, and we've seen that in the minor leagues. And then there is the opportunity for external acquisitions, and we've got a lot of offseason left. I would expect us to continue to be active in a variety of spaces to bring players in here, and I think we'll have a better feel for what all of that looks like as we get much farther into the winter and ultimately into the spring.
How much do you have to sort of weigh some of the clubhouse stuff in terms of, Nimmo was the key leader, Semion's the key leader, obviously on another team, but like, is sometimes some of that stuff a little bit, overblown by the fans? I mean, does it not weigh as much as their on-field production or on-field contributions would be?
I think it's all part of our decision points and our evaluation of the team. Very difficult to create an equation for how you balance on-field performance and clubhouse chemistry and clubhouse leadership, and how different pieces within that puzzle are all going to fit together. Very difficult to measure any of that. And so, Brandon clearly was a very important piece, a prominent piece of our clubhouse for a long time. And we think Marcus is going to be able to fit in very well also.
Hey, David, your first baseman, your closer are both, officially free agents now. Have you had a chance to engage them extensively in talks? Excuse me. How would you characterize those negotiations or pursuits at this point with Alonso and Diaz?
As I've said before, we'd love to have Pete and Edwin back. They're both great Mets. I'm not going to get into any of the specifics of any conversations that we've had to this point.
David, if you wanted to re-sign Pete, re-sign Edwin, and go out and get a top flight outfield acquisition, do you have the financial latitude to do that?
I think our ownership group and Steve is very consistent that they're willing to support what we think is right from a baseball perspective. Payroll space is not unending, but I am also very confident that we're going to have the support we need and certainly the resources we need to put a very good team on the field.
Is what I just described a realistic strategy for you guys this offseason?
Sure. Yeah, I think anything would be realistic right now.
I mean, dude, there's not a person alive that doesn't think that if Stearns presents something that he believes is incredibly sensible, no matter how aggressive it is financially, that Cohen's not cutting every check. He's cutting them.
That's why I think you have to sit here if you're a Met fan and hear that and be excited beyond belief. This is not a bad day. It's not even a sad day. It should be an exciting day. Nimmo had his run. He had many opportunities. They didn't get the job done. It's not his fault, but they need to build a ball club here. And I don't know what more you could ask for as a fan than an owner who's going to be, A, letting the baseball people make their baseball decisions, and B, willing to give them whatever they need when, in fact, they do want to make those baseball decisions.
But I could also understand why it's a sad day. Now, what I would say is you have to be able to very quickly balance the sadness with excitement about what the future is going to bring. But I can see why a lot of people are down here. But just back to...
Well, tell me why.
Well, because they love Nimmo. Come on. You go to the yard and you got kids. You got the Nimmo. I get it. There's a human element. There's a human element to it that matters. Now, it shouldn't matter to the point where it dissuades you from making a smart move for your team. I certainly understand... Even as an adult, like, you know, not just kids, like you get connected to people, you do. And it's a results-oriented business. That's all that really matters. But I think a lot of us, and I'm throwing myself in the us at times, have a rough time separating that, and I respect it. I just think you have to understand that it's going to lead to something better and try to find a way to emotionally navigate the sadness.
I would also
which
say,
I think everybody, listen, people who don't like to trade today, you know, like sadness, whatever word, lamenting the absence or the loss of Nimmo, however you want to frame it, they're not going to be walking around like this in a month. This is the day after, man. Nimmo's 32, 33. He got drafted when he was 17. I understand it.
Being sad when Mike Piazza was nearing the end, or being sad the day they traded Tom Seaver, or being sad to see the way the 86 World Series team was broken apart, that's a lot different than being sad for a guy who was a high-character individual and a very likable guy. Understood all that. I personally love Brandon Nimmo. He didn't really accomplish much as a New York Met.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the point.
Being said about David Wright,
yeah,
that I understand.
Well, I mean, listen, the Seaver stuff. First of all, I mean, Tom was drafted by the Mets.
No, I get it. Okay.
I mean, Seaver's on a mountain by himself in terms of greatness and sadness when he was dealt in the middle of the night for 4 Reds, which was an awful trade.
Look at his entire career.
With awful Mets ownership.
Look at Nimmo's entire career. Like, the last 4 seasons were his best.
I'm not saying you build it. I heard people saying you're going to retire his number. Are you nuts? There's no way Nimmo should have his number, and he won't. I'm not making a case for him as some ball player that, anything other than a hard worker who had a couple of good years who the fans really connected to. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he was a B- player. Right. The one thing that I would say, though, about what Stern said, about whether it's Taylor, Benj, McNeil, or Jet Williams, like those can't be options. Not with Soto in his prime, not with Lindor still here, especially if you bring back
why
Pete.
Not one of them?
Well, to start the season? No, not based on, for me, where the Mets are right now. If Lindor was younger, if Pete's back and Pete was younger.
You can't. They're not going to acquire 2 outfielders. They're going to get 1, and they have to keep the space free. They already have 1 massive outfielder in Soto. They're probably going to make another big move, whether that's Tucker, Bellinger, trading for one, whatever. It's going to be 1 from outside, and then have the 3rd spot.
Yeah. I'm just not giving the keys to... No, Benj might be the man. Taylor's a good backup. I'm not giving the keys to any of those guys. McNeil's... he's not playing center. If anything, he's playing a little bit of left field, whatever. If there were some other more stable spots around the diamond, like, I like Beatty, and Beatty very well might be the third baseman for a while, but we're not sure. Alvarez has talent. We're not sure. Like, there's still too many things that are fluid. So I can't take a chance in center field when I'm trying to win now. That's all I'm saying.
You're okay with the Yankees doing that? They did the
Yankees have more better players, though, Sal.
Well, hold on a second. The Yankees did it with Austin Wells.
And he hit 20-something home runs.
BT.
No, but hold on. Do you think that the Yankees...
You did it with Volpe, Dominguez, and Austin Wells for years.
Yeah, but you had.
So why can't the Mets do it with one guy in the outfield?
Because the Mets don't have somebody that does what Judge does. They don't. And
why not? They have Juan Soto.
You're the one who's up, but he doesn't do what Judge. Nobody does. But you've been telling me that the Yankees are the one with more power. So that's the answer.
I'm talking about building a ball club.
Well, those are two different. I don't like the way the Yankees have built the team. You know that. What I'm saying, but they went into last season with enough established players that you knew Judge would bang 50, Belly would hit 25. Yeah, I mean they took some chances. I mean they didn't know what Grisham was going to do, but they had pitching. Like the Yankees were a better team. Right now the Mets have no pitching.
Yeah, but they're good. But they're going to get.
I agree with that.
Forget about Mets or Yankees comparison. All I'm talking about, you were okay with Dominguez, Wells, and Volpe. 3 unproven, not to mention Ben Rice, 3 unproven young guys.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Going into a year where the Yankees are supposed to win a World Series in Judge's window. And the Mets can't have one spot in the outfield to either be Benj or Williams. And I have no idea what those guys are going to be. But the idea that they're going to now block all of those guys, that also doesn't make any sense.
Well, listen, first of all, we saw enough of Austin Wells the previous year to think that he would have some power, which he did. Now, the average is what it is, and, maybe he's not going to be as good as I thought. I'm not giving up, but I wanted to see Wells, and I think he hit leadoff opening day last year. Either way, I was fine with Wells coming in. Matter of fact, I knew he was going to be the starting catcher. Wasn't sold on Rice. Now I think he's terrific, so that worked out for them. Volpe's been a disaster. We talked about that. Right, and Dominguez was their top prospect.
Right.
So who I wanted to see play.
Okay, so why can't the Met fan...
Because I've never seen Benj or...
So what? It's not about you seeing them. It's about...
No, but it is, though, because that's how I base my opinions.
You thought Dominguez was going to be great.
But at least I saw him at Houston come up and hit home runs and hit 8 home runs before he got hurt. At least I saw something. Hey, by the way, if I saw Benj do that, for, I know it was a small sample, 7, 8, 9 games, I think I'd be more open to be like, but
just in theory, so forget about the individual players. In theory, the idea of having, like, every good team, even the Dodgers, are going to have to rely on some of the young players to come up and contribute. So why not be okay with doing it in 1 spot or maybe 2 as opposed to 3 or 4 spots? I'm not asking the Mets to run out a minor league team, but to say that to me, it would be actually stupid the other way to plug 2 holes in the outfield and prevent any room for those kids to go who they believe in.
Not if one of those players is Bellinger and he plays from first base. Now, listen, by the way, the big difference
Bellinger
here.
And then you still have versatility. You still can use one of those young guys if need be.
Yeah.
And you save room for it. You're not clogging up a hole.
And by the way, I'm not saying not to give some young players some runway this year. Play Beatty, play Alvarez. I know what I am saying is that the Mets center field situation last year was so pitiful, so substandard, and so pathetic that I have no answers on. Well, I have an answer on Taylor. He's a 4th or 5th outfielder. I respect him, but he's nothing more than that. I've never seen Benj do a damn thing. I've heard about Jet Williams for 3 years. Haven't seen him do a damn thing yet. And I don't know anything. And McNeil can't play center. So all I'm saying is you could go with some young guys in certain spots. I'm not saying you can't. Every team does. But you cannot have center field be the worst by far situation in baseball again. That I can't do. But I can't have any of those guys playing center field. It's pretty clear.
It makes no sense.
What do you mean? I just laid it out perfectly.
You wanted Dominguez to play center.
Forget about the Yankees.
No, it's not. It's not. It's about your belief. You like young guys more than anybody, and now with the Mets, you're saying that they can't have one. You don't know anything about Carson Benz.
We can't. We got to get back to this. We got to pick this back up.
But I'm serious.
So we don't have to break. I'll keep going. You tell me what to do. We break and we go. I want to keep going with this.
We're going to listen to the last 2 on David Stearns here, and then we can get back to that. Go ahead. Play the last 2 from Stearns.
I know you only overlapped with Brandon in Queens for 2 years, but when you look back on the entirety of his Mets tenure, what sticks out to you?
Look, I think it's the relationships that Brandon was able to create throughout our organization and the community. And I think that speaks to his authenticity, and that connected with a lot of people. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I think that's what we'll miss most.
Just one more on Nimmo. How much did his recent injury history change the value of his 8-year contract that he originally signed, especially with the repeating neck injury that would take him out sometimes?
I don't know. I think Brandon posts pretty well, and look, they're going to be nagging injuries for any player, especially as you get into these stages of their careers. But Brandon did everything in his power to get on the field, and clearly more nights than not, he was out there playing left field for us.
All right, so that's it for Stearns on Nimmo. I thought that he handled himself extremely well there. I am excited about the future for the Mets. I'm also not expecting them to go out there and get Tucker and Bellinger, or Bader and Bellinger. I think that they're going to do exactly what he said. Probably keep one of those spots open for a young guy, which I'm okay with. Who that is, we'll find out. I know they're high on bench. Who the hell knows? But I would be okay with that, assuming that they get one big outfielder in another way, whether it's free agency or via trade.
I thought he sounded really good. I know something else big is coming. That's why Met fans should feel really good about this. He is now doing what he wanted to do when he was hired. I think that, and I don't know about that. I have no idea where Tucker's going. It's such a weird read. I know they're going to go after Bellinger. There's a chance the Mets might get him. But just to finish the conversation before, you haven't once heard me say Spencer Jones should start next year or Lombard should start. I've never seen them play. So now you are right about this. You said before that I generally like the younger players more than most. I agree with that. But if I haven't laid eyes on you, I'm not going to give you any sort of runway. I'm not going to prop you up without any basis, even if it's a small sample, because that's stupid. Jones strikes out a ton. I've seen the highlight home runs that go 500 feet, basically. I don't know if he could play. And I've never seen Lombard outside of spring training when he got a little look with the Yankees down in Tampa. The difference was, at least with Dominguez out, number one, he was the Yankees' #1 prospect. And at least I saw him in the majors when he got called up in Houston. He looked like we were joking around. Mickey Mantle, switch hitting Mickey Mantle, could run. He's got pop. He's got this. All right. Let's give him a little room. Let's see what he could do. So to me, the Dominguez, the willingness to play Dominguez, I just described why. Whereas with Taylor, I'm not looking to get Taylor off the Mets. He's a great clubhouse guy. He's a perfect, extra outfielder. I've never seen bench, which ties into me saying, I've never seen Jones, so that's why I can't give it a bench. McNeil ain't it, and I've never seen Jet Williams. If there was a guy, I'll tell you this, if you said Alonso gets blown away by the Red Sox 8 years, which is not going to happen, and he leaves, I would say, maybe you get Bregman, whatever, but I'd put Brett Beatty over at first base because at least I've seen him enough to think he's got the hands and the requisite talents to be a functional first baseman, and I think he's going to hit. So it's not just saying that the Yankees should play young players and the Mets shouldn't. It's seeing a couple of these, and we just throw out 5 or 6 names, seeing a few of them and then getting an early read, whether it's right or wrong, on what I think they could be in the majors. That's all I'm saying.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, maybe get some of your calls in here. Also at 1 o'clock, we'll have Hal Steinbrenner, who spoke as well via
Come on,
Zoom.
Hal. You better say something good today, buddy.
We'll do the same thing that we just did with Stearns. We'll do that with Hal coming up at 1 o'clock.
It's Evan and Kiki. Afternoons on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Brian Burns, who up until yesterday, because of Myles Garrett's prolific sack totals he's going to put up this season, was leading the league in sacks. Brian Burns has been fantastic. Dex actually in the earlies in these games is getting pressure. Kayvon Thibodeau when he was healthy, and Abdul Carter, they're supposed to be dominant. But it's hard to be dominant when offenses know exactly what you're going to do.
Listen to Evan and Kiki on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Maggie Gray with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Despite multiple deep playoff runs and Super Bowl appearances, the 49ers' first-round draft pick misfires can be brutal. Trey Lance flopped, and now Brandon Ayuk looks like the next big warning sign. Reports say he's played his last game in San Francisco after missed meetings, stalled rehab, and voided guarantees in his contract. Kyle Shanahan admitted he's never seen a situation like this. I'm Maggie Gray.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening, because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
It's never too early for Lowe's Black Friday deals. Snag some of our biggest savings of the season right now, like 25% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees. And get yourself free select DeWalt, Cobalt, or Craftsman tools when you buy a select battery or combo kit before the Black Friday rush. Because everyone loves free stuff, right? Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Looking for the lowest price on name brand tires? Get to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any name brand tire. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
Beware the holiday buffering.
Who are you?
the ghost of internet past here to slow down right when your guests arrive.
Not this year. We got Verizon's 100% fiber optic home internet. Scored a limited time offer for $20 a month and locked in the price for 3 years.
Fios home internet, that's scary fast.
Now we can all stream, video chat, and game at the same time. So bye.
Call 1-833-VERIZON to switch to Fios home internet today. Fios 300 megabits per second plan at $20 a month with autopay. Any Verizon mobile phone plan and bonus discount. Price guarantee applies to base monthly rate only for my home customers. Terms apply.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $150 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$150 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Take the guesswork out of cooking, folks. The Chef IQ Sense is a must-have wireless cooking thermometer that eliminates under or overcooking chicken, fish, or steak. Order the newly released third-generation Chef IQ Sense at chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Get the most for your money at Ramsey Mazda with impressive offers on a new Mazda CX-5 or Mazda CX-30 during the More to Move You sales event. Visit RamseyMazda.com. Get the most for your money. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda.
Sullivan Papain is one of New York's best personal injury law firms, according to U.S. News and World Report. As general counsel to the New York City Firefighters Union, Sullivan Papain is New York's team, fighting for New Yorkers and our city's bravest. Sullivan Papain is also a proud sponsor of the St. John's Red Storm. Grab your Johnny's Rally towel and get fired up with Sullivan Papain at every St. John's home game this season at the Garden. Find Sullivan Papain online at triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain.
Guys, Flag and Anthem's Black Friday sale is here, and this year they're going big. I'm talking up to 65% off site-wide on the stuff you actually want. Flannels, jackets, shirts, hoodies, denim, all of it. And if you haven't heard, Flag and Anthem just signed two-time champion quarterback Eli Manning as an ambassador, so you know their clothes are legit. Whether you're upgrading your closet or knocking out holiday gifts, this is the time to load up. Visit flagandanthem.com and shop the Black Friday sale, plus a free gift with purchase every day through Cyber Monday. Flag and Anthem, premium clothes without the premium price tag.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan.
BT, it's out back on the Fan. We'll get back to the calls next hour, and we'll hear from Hal Steinbrenner. So you heard from President of Baseball Operations, David Stearns. Now, I have not heard any snippets of Hal yet. I think the thing just ended, so Hoff and Dove, they've been cutting up. Whatever, we're going to play it when we come back. Got to take a quick break and then come back. Is there anything in particular, BT, you're looking to hear from Hal?
I am just curious, and he's going to be asked about any financial limitations, proceed, luxury tax stuff.
All right.
I want to hear if we hear the usual stuff or if we get a little trace of more aggression from my guy Hal.
Good point. It's not about what I want to hear. It's about what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Hal again reference the luxury tax threshold. I just don't want to hear it. It's time to go big. I'm curious to get his take on... See, I don't know if the Yankees are going to acknowledge. Now, again, their version of failure is far different from the Mets. Like, they fail by winning 94 games and falling short of a World Series. The Mets fell by not making the postseason, but at least Stearns can say definitively it wasn't good enough. I'm not running it back. It wasn't good enough. Here's the guy who could help us in this way, that way, this way. And yet with Cashman and the Yankees, it's always like they believe they're good enough and they just get unlucky in the postseason and they continue to add the same players every year. So I wonder if there's going to be a different feel from Hal, but I highly doubt that we'll hear much different from what we've heard years before.
I wish I could possess his body for 10 minutes and just do the press conference for him. And like whatever I say, he has to do. You know, it's funny because we were talking about the A-Rod, the Alex versus A-Rod documentary, which I was finally able to get the QR code on the remote, whatever, watch it as I told Sal early. I binged it over the weekend. And like we all know, 2009, the Yankees got A-Rod and CeCe. Well, they had A-Rod. They got CeCe and Teixeira and A.J. Burnett. And they spent $250 million, and that's the last time they won. We all know that, right? But watching some of the highlights from the 2009 World Series and then some of the failures after it, you know, getting bounced in certain situations in the playoffs, and then eventually, you know, Alex moving on and the continuation of no championship since 2009. And like, it's one thing to know it and to have lived through it, but then when you watch footage of the 2009 season, as I did, again, it's like, man, it feels like, if you could say it's 30 years, it feels that long ago. So I would like to get aggressive Hal, maybe a little combative Hal. I don't think that's the Hal that we get.
BT and Sal on the Fan. We'll take a break. We'll come back and hear from Hal on the Fan.
It may be the offseason for the Bombers and Amazons, but there's no offseason for Yankees and Mets talk. Get the latest here. The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always streaming on the Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio app.
Great deals are waiting for you at your local Kia dealer during the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event. So, gift yourself some savings and drive home a capable Kia SUV or powerful Kia sedan today.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The Hess truck's back and it's better than ever. Roaring engines this year. Hess race cars are here.
The Hess stock car racers are loaded with lights, sounds, and a powerful racing motor. Only at HessToyTruck.com. Free shipping and batteries included.
MSC Cruises Black Friday sale is here with the best deal of the year. Cruise from $199. Plus, get up to $1,000 onboard credit and kids sail free. Experience MSC Cruises' signature blend of European style and American comfort, from global flavors to Broadway-style shows and more. Book your next holiday to must-see destinations like the Caribbean, Europe, and beyond. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Come visit the engagement experts at London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations.
Kohl's Black Friday deals are here. Grab your coffee and put on your sneakers because it's go time. Through Saturday, save up to 50% on everything from toys to beauty faves, winter styles, and more. Plus, earn $15 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. Yep, that's extra Kohl's Cash. So run, don't walk. Just hold on tight to that coffee. Select styles, some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Offers end November 29th. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Embrace the spirit of the season during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration and make dreams come true at Mercedes-Benz of Edison. With over 500 vehicles to choose from, you'll find the perfect holiday gift for the one you love. Celebrate the season in true luxury at Mercedes-Benz of Edison.
We're your official station to talk Yankees and Mets. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station.
WFAN Sports Flash.
Good afternoon at 1 o'clock. I'm Andrew Bogish. Your Sports Flash is sponsored by Chef IQ. Precision cooking, effortless results, ChefIQ.com. And by Total Orthopedics, the experts at getting you back to being you. Total Orthopedics is Long Island's premier orthopedic practice. From simple sprains and broken bones to complex sports injuries, they're the experts at getting you back to being you. Total Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Visit TotalOrthoExpress.com today. Marcus Semien is run prevention in the flesh. The Mets' new Gold Glove second baseman. David Stearns, though, well aware he is no longer a major offensive threat.
We think there's likely some bounce back in his offensive profile and his offensive game. But what we're counting on at the top of his skill set is the contributions he can make for us defensively, how he can perform on the bases. and we think those are going to help us win games.
Stern spoke with Jeff McNeil about this Brandon Nimmo trade yesterday. He said McNeil still has value to the team because he can play multiple positions, including first base possibly, depending on how the offseason plays out. Stern's also saying he believes McNeil wants to be a part of what's coming next. The Giants fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen this morning. Outside linebackers coach Charlie Bullen is the interim replacement, and it's a busy afternoon of local college hoops. Rutgers about to tip off with number 20 Tennessee in Vegas on 6:60 a.m. St. John's has a 4:30 tip in Vegas against Iowa State. Fan weather is sponsored by Ray Cattina Mercedes-Benz of Edison. It's 50 and sunny in Central Park, and that's what's happening. Sports flashes, top of every hour. I'm Andrew Bogut.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
BT and Sal Show on the Fan, presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Giants. We spoke about it before. Hal Steinbrenner met the media today, I guess in his yearly year-end Zoom. I have no idea. I didn't get a sneak peek on social media. I know you said you did see one thing. Let's listen to it here together. Hal Steinbrenner talking about the Yankees' disappointing season as obviously they fall short yet again of another World Series. Here's Hal.
Hey, Hal, thank you for taking the time today. We appreciate it. You've mentioned in the past that a payroll in $300 million range is not sustainable, but you've also exceeded that figure the last two seasons. Are you willing to go over $300 million again, or do you intend to be below that number?
First question of the day. My goodness. Look, I know you guys want a number. We finished this year at $319 million, actually, was the final number. So just shy of 320. It's the same every year. What I tell Cashman is I want to know all the possibilities that are out there. I will talk to all your people about them. I will hear them out, and I will decide whether or not I'm able or willing to pull the trigger on them. And it's not going to be any different this year. I mean, it's not like I'm giving my head of marketing an advertising budget. Here's how much you can spend on advertising this year. I mean, they know what a billboard costs. They know what a 30-second ad costs. I can give them a number, and in 10 minutes, they're going to know exactly what they're going to do and what they're not going to be able to do. This is a much more fluid situation. I mean, we don't know what's out there as far as possibilities, and the possibilities that we do know are out there, we don't know what they're going to cost. I mean, it's way too early for that at this point in time. So it's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, we can talk before he goes into winter meetings about a range, but because it's a fluid situation, that range can go bye-bye in 2 seconds if there's a deal that, arises that I feel would be very beneficial to some area of need that we have. So it's hard to give you a number. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a different deal.
Understood. And just to follow up on that, with the CBA set to expire after next season, there's some uncertainty over the game's financial parameters moving forward. Just will those uncertainties impact how you guys approach the offseason, and if so, how?
No, what's going to impact, again, is what the number is and what luxury tax that creates, the amount, and how that looks in our overall financial situation. I mean, that's all that matters.
Hal, I know your focus has surely already shifted to 2026, but when you reflect on 2025, what most encouraged you about this team? What most disappointed you about this team?
Well, what most encouraged me about the team is how well they played together, how incredible they had each other's backs, how incredible the clubhouse was. They like many teams we've had in the past, never thought they were out of it. Never thought they were going to lose a game. And, when they had a tough loss the next day, it's almost like it didn't happen. They just bounced right back. What was disappointing, obviously, was the result. I didn't like that 6-7 week period that we had where we were making mistakes, not playing good baseball, not hitting. That can't happen every year, in my opinion.
But it does.
And certainly what happened in the postseason was disappointing. We went in healthy. We went in my opinion, playing good ball. And got through that first tough series, and I really thought we were going to go on a roll, and we just quit hitting. And, our pitching faltered as well. I think somebody told me we gave up 34 runs in 34 innings. You're not going to beat the Blue Jays, as good a team as they are, doing that. So it was disappointing. It was disappointing.
Okay, so a couple of things there, obviously. And Hal was having some fun with it. First question of the day, payroll. But isn't that kind of where we are? It's not an out-of-bounds question. I mean, that's pretty much the biggest question of the Yankees or around the Yankees every year. Not are they going to spend, but is there a drop-dead amount? And not because we're making this up. It's because Hal has spoken about this in the past, right? Now, remember you said before we actually played some of those cuts from Hal that I saw something on social media.
Yeah.
And I want to read this to you. Now, Hal said it's not fair to assume that the Yankees make a profit. Right. This is Brian Hoke had this, right? Quote, I don't want to get into it, but that's not a fair statement or an accurate one. Everybody wants to talk about revenues, but they need to talk about our expenses, including, and this we heard this a couple of years ago, the $100 million expense to the city of New York that we have to pay on February 1st every year, including the COVID year, so it all adds up in a hurry. I'm not saying that that's not true. It is. I just don't want to hear it. The Yankees are worth $8 billion. $8 billion was their most recent valuation, number one in baseball. The Mets, I think, were sixth at $3.1 billion. The Yankees generated $705 million. The Mets $446. Yeah. Anybody asking Cohen what he's going to spend?
No, and if they did, what do you think he'd say?
Whatever it takes to do it.
Yeah, Hal, it's very simple. First question right out of the gate. Yeah. Because you used to operate one way, other teams have now passed you by. You continue to reference the luxury tax threshold. Obviously, it's not working. So if the Dodgers can just have no limits and the Mets can have no limits, then the Yankees should also have no limits. So I didn't think he handled it poorly, but it's a very simple answer. We will do whatever it takes to build a winning ball club.
Yeah, and listen, you have to be true to yourself. This applies to Stearns when he spoke, which I think he was. And I think this is who Hal is. I think Hal is an incredibly likable gentleman. I really do. I'm fond of him as I think he's a good guy, but that doesn't really matter that much anymore. And I just, for once, would like to hear an agitated Hal Steinbrenner, not about the financial questions, about the state of his Yankees, who have not won since 2009.
Sports Talk on the Fan, presented by Paramount Plus. Count on Sundays all season long with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Here's more with Hal.
How, when you look at 2026, Cody Bellinger, very productive, fit in very seamlessly. On your off-season checklist, how much of a priority is trying to bring Bellinger back?
I'm not going to get into free agents, Jack. You know that. We're looking at every area of need, and we will deem which needs are most significant and which aren't. We still need another outfielder. We have options. We need to improve the bullpen for sure. I really love our starting rotation next year. We got to get through April and get Cole back and Rodon back. But it's going to be an incredible rotation if everybody comes back as planned. And I think we're pretty good on the infield as well. But we're going to look at all options like we always do, as I just said, and see what's possible and what's not.
The Blue Jays run, they hit behind the runner, they strike out less often, they play solid defense. They made it to Game 7 of the World Series. For so many years, the Blue Jays wanted to be like the Yankees. Do the Yankees want to be like the Blue Jays now?
Well, look, I think balance in life is everything. I mean, they slug the ball too. It's not just putting balls in play. They definitely slug the ball. Hitting strikes hard, particularly in the air. Not that you're trying to hit it over the fence, but in the air. Statistically speaking, the results speak for themselves. I mean, you have a better chance of success when you do that. But we try to, become more balanced, picking up guys like Jazz, guys that can put the ball into play. So I do think you need that. You can't simply be a slugging home run team. They had a great year. I'm curious to see next year how well they do with that roster, assuming it stays mostly intact. But they're a great team. They definitely played better than us. They slugged better than us, and they hit the ball and put it in play better than us. And they pitched better than us, and that's why they won.
See, Hal basically said, "Well, infield set, rotation looking good. Need another outfielder." What does that mean? Bringing Bellinger back? They're gonna run it back again?
It's funny you say that because I jotted the same thing down because he was talking about the pitching, which I totally agree. The pitching has a chance to be the best in baseball. Got to get some guys healthy, whatever. But then when he said, quote, "We're pretty good on the infield," hold on a second. Teixeira, Cano, Jeter, A-Rod versus Rice, Grisham, Caballero / Volpe, and McMahon?
Jazz. You said Grisham, but you mean Jazz. Yeah, I get
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Good God. I mean, it's a little worrisome.
it's worrisome in that I'd like to hear a little more of what Stern said, and it wasn't good enough, and we know that we need to change it up. And it sounds like, now, I still think the Yankees are going to make some moves here.
Me too.
To what extent, I have no idea, but it can't just be, we'll bring Bellinger back, and we're going to have a better rotation because Cole's coming back, and this is something that you thought that might be the case with the Yankees. There's no way that could be the case. They can't be that stupid to think that you could just run it back and have Garrett Cole come back and everything's going to be great. No, it's not good enough. First base wasn't good enough. Catcher wasn't good enough. Third base wasn't good enough. Shortstop wasn't good enough. Second base at best is inconsistent. I wouldn't go with Jack. Like they have issues here. You got to restructure this thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, they got a center fielder who's getting $22 million. That I wish he didn't sign it. I wish he wasn't on the team next year. I said that. You know, there's so many other things I want to hear from Hal, and I'm sure we'll get to like the Japanese market. To me, is a very interesting question at this point. But the thought that the Yankees, and I remember saying this to you a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm not saying that this would work, but it's not a bad route if that's what you're going to do. If they were to go all in on Skubal and give up whatever it would take to get Skubal, and they try, and they don't do much else except bringing back Bellinger, that's acceptable to me. If they go into now, they'd have to get a little bit of bullpen work as well, but I'm talking about the main ingredients.
Bullpen, like we all understand.
And Cashman's very good at fixing that, so I almost don't even worry about that. And Bednar seemed to be a very good fit for New York at the back end. But if you go into next season, and once you get past April, and you got Skubal, and you got Fried, and you got Cole, and you got Schlittler, and you got Rodon, and you got Clark Schmidt coming back in, August, and even Will Warren, he'd probably have to trade. And then you bring back Bellinger, and you have Judge. Well, that's a chance to win a World Series differently. But without a Skubal or a Skeens type of trade and just Bellinger, you don't win.
Yeah, I still wouldn't do that myself. In that hypothetical, I would look to maybe move from one of the starters, let's say Rodon, if you could somehow get somebody to take on his remaining salary and then use that piece, let's say, to get a third baseman or upgrade in a certain way. Maybe get a different catcher in here. I just don't like the way the Yankees are built with the first base situation, DH situation, catcher, third, short. I mean, there are a lot. Outfield, I wouldn't worry about. Especially if you bring Bellinger back, I think they'd be okay in the outfield.
I don't know how. Listen, I don't
have a leadoff hitter. I mean, we talked about that.
I don't deflect. You're right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of positions, and they're going to address some of them, obviously. But McMahon was acquired last year, and McMahon's going to play this year. And, Grisham did what he did a year ago, and he's probably going to bat first again this year, unless you get Kwan, which we'll see. Yeah, it's a very imperfect team. The good thing is you got Judge, you got a couple of top-level pitchers, and you've got a payroll that's going to be very competitive, but they got to go the extra mile. I mean, Aaron Judge's prime, tick, tick, tick.
Let's hear more from Hal.
Hal, is the Yankees' mantra still World Series or bust? I know I've asked you that before. And is that realistic?
Attaboy, Bruce.
I certainly thought it was last year. And, now we begin the work of next year. That's our one and only focus. But I absolutely went into the playoffs believing we could win a championship, of course. And the team was good enough to win a championship. But they've got to play up to their potential. And, the Blue Jays did, and we didn't. And it's across the board. And that's why the end score was what it was.
Even with a $300 million payroll, you said the final figure was $319. You were still outspent by the Dodgers and the Mets. Is your view of whether a salary cap should be proposed changed over time? And would you still favor a cap proposal if it was proposed?
Look, I don't feel like I'm in a position right now, research-wise, knowledge-wise, to answer that question. We'll always be among the highest payroll-wise. We always have been, always will be. Look, there are groups of fans out there in different areas, including my hometown here in Tampa, that come to, and I've addressed this before, come to spring training games thinking their team has little chance of making the playoffs, or at least little chance of making it deep into the playoffs. And those fans would argue that that's not good for baseball as a whole. And, it's a valid argument. Whether it's true or not, it's a valid argument. So, that's about all I got for you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
At this point in time.
Hey, Hal, when you talk to players and coaches around this team and about things that you need to do better, what are some of the things that they say to you, and do you agree with it? Ways this team can improve for 26.
Yeah, look, mental mistakes, base running for sure, which is why we made a change there, has been a thorn in our side most of the season last year or this year. So yes, whatever concerns that they have, it's not just them. Obviously, Cash is involved too. intimately involved, we're going to make a change and we're going to do better at it. But if you're asking specific about this year, the base running mistakes was not good, not good. So we've made a change there, coaching wise, and we're going to expect better results this year, coming year.
At the start of the year, you were quoted as saying it's difficult for most owners to do what the Dodgers are doing, spending. And you wondered if it would pay off for them. I'm curious, does the fact that they've now won back-to-back titles change your thinking at all and how you approach this offseason or future offseasons when it comes to spending like them?
Yeah, look, if there's a correlation between spending the most money and winning a championship, I still think it's a weak correlation. Sample size of data, not very big, but they earned every bit of it. I mean, they struggled with injuries throughout the season, which I did talk about in that same quote. But they got healthy at the right time. The rotation got healthy, and when that rotation's healthy, they're tough to beat. And they, quite frankly, played up to their potential. I mean, they really played up to their potential, especially those last two games. And that has to happen. Your players have to play up to their potential when you're playing a team as good as the Blue Jays and you're playing under that kind of pressure in the World Series. So, hats off to them. It's not easy to do twice, and they did it in dramatic fashion this time. And but again, we'll see what they do next year, and we'll see how it pans out. There was nothing low about my payroll and the Mets payroll, and look where we ended up.
See, I'm not hearing the edge that you were looking to hear and the frustration, or I don't want to say he doesn't care because I do believe Hal cares.
100%.
But not to the level that...
He's not us. He's never going to sound like you or me. I mean, come on. He's just not wired like many of the New York Yankee fans are in terms of just that visceral personality.
Or his father.
His pops, of course.
I hate to keep going down that road. He's not George, but that's who he's going to be compared to because that was his father. And when George owned the team, he'd come on and he'd be ticked off and heads would be rolling. And he'd say, this is not good enough. I don't want to hear about the payroll. I don't want to hear about the Dodgers. I don't care. We need to build a better team so we're the world champions. That's what the Yankees used to be. And now Hal's just like, the Dodgers, they had a great World Series, but they played up to their potential.
And they got healthy at the right time.
What are you going to do?
It's funny because, and we've talked about it a few times here today, the Alex versus A-Rod documentary, really so much, at least, he thinks that medical professionals think that a lot of Alex's issues stem back to his dad abandoning him when he left at the age of 10, right? Up in Washington Heights, and then eventually when they went to the DR, and then things really disintegrated when they went to Miami, and then he left, right? So, and Alex has owned that and, made a lot of mistakes. Many probably derived from that hole and that abandonment that, if you look at psychology, that definitely connects. As much, we know Hal's never going to be his dad, but I think in a lot of ways, maybe he's trying purposely not to be his dad. Because as we sit here and glorify George, right? The championships, whatever it takes, George, the military, he loves this and that, and we love all that about George. But there was a lot about George, if you're old enough, that you couldn't stand. And I'm raising my hand right there with you. Incredibly frustrated with George. Now imagine being George's son. Growing up in that kind of environment. So maybe it's a purposeful separation from his dad's personality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. Either way, to me, it's just the results aren't good enough. I get that winning 94 games is great. I would like to see a little more frustration and irrational behavior. I get that you also want to see rationale from front offices.
Yeah.
The Yankees are at a point where we need to see a little irrational
I like the way you frame that. And you know what? Let me just push the very basic psychological evaluations aside, since that's certainly not my lane here. It's just my opinion. It could be onto something, maybe not, whatever. One thing that he did say about the base running, and this is a problem, right? So, we changed some coaches. That's going to be addressed. Okay. Does anybody think that a new coach is going to get Jazz Chisholm locked in on the bases? Right. The answer is no. Does anybody think that a new coach is going to get Austin Wells, who just wandered off of second base, not knowing how many outs there were, to be a more locked-in base runner? For me, the answer is no. And these are fundamental issues that have permeated the organization forever. You could, Richardson, the Mets friend. You could put Richardson at first base, and the Mets and the Yankees probably still have some issues running the bags because a lot of their players, and now some players they brought in have been better. Bellinger's better, obviously. Even Goldschmidt was older and slower, smart base runner. I get it. They did make up some ground in that department, and they caught the baseball better. But I've always gone back to the guts. If you lift up the hood and you get to the engine of the Yankees, we focus on payroll and free agency. I've always thought it's deeper than that.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Take a quick break. Come back more with Hal Steinbrenner. We'll get in your calls before we say goodbye as well.
Come on, Hal. Just let it rip once. Come on. All right. This Thanksgiving, FanDuel's introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together. It's called Pass the Leg. Here's how it goes. Start a group build, add your pick, then pass it on to a buddy so they can add theirs as well. Then you combine it all. Everybody's done. You lock in the group parlay with your own funds, and boom, you got a chance to win. Football's obviously better when it's played and bet together. A little juice on the games is always fun. And to make it even better, everybody's getting a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you guys can start over the parlay with a Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, pass it on to one of your buddies. They pick something. Maybe it's a game, a total, and the team score, passing yards for quarterback X, whatever it might be. There are a million ways to have fun with this, to jump in on the action. This Thanksgiving, Pass the Leg is where it's at. Visit FanDuel.com/BT. That's FanDuel.com/BT to get going. FanDuel, of course, play your game. We love the app around here. It's safe and secure, and when you win, get paid right away. FanDuel's the official sportsbook of us here at the Fan, WFAN, 21 plus, and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions to apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And for help with a gambling problem, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Every Saturday at 8 a.m., it's Kickoff with Boomer and Mike Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL.
This is Mike Kafka's audition on the job. If he can do something here special with Jackson Dart and that continues to grow when he comes back, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to keep him.
Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. And The Fan, always streaming on Odyssey, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio app.
I'm Michael Jenkins here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. We're taking the Panthers plus 7.5 tonight against San Francisco. They've quietly been very good to this point in the season. They've won their last 3 games on the road, and they're 8-3 in their last 11 against the number with Bryce Young, a quarterback. They're taking on a Niners defense that has been underwhelming thus far, so we like the Panthers to keep it close and cover the number at 7 and a hook. I'm Michael Jenkins from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books, and download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It was out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
For over 100 years, Sloman's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, they deliver more than just quality fuel. They deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, and 24/7 service, their dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Sloman's, the Tri-State's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving their community for generations. Give them a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomans.com.
Town Fair Tire honors any valid rebates, manufacturers or competitors' rebates. Yes, even any competitors' rebates. And we give you the guaranteed lowest price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
Hey everyone, this is Boomer Esiason, and I'm here to tell you all about United Healthcare and their Oxford products. They've served me well for 41 years, and I've been very happy with the coverage that I've received. In fact, they're not only my insurance carrier, United Healthcare also supports my foundation in our quest to find a cure for cystic fibrosis. So when you play pro football, you learn pretty fast that you can't win without teammates you can rely on. The same is true for your health plan. And that's why Oxford plans from United Healthcare include all kinds of benefits for your employees, like $0 deductible options, virtual care with $0 copays, and the ability to earn up to $700 a year just for taking healthy actions. Care for your employees and savings for you? You'll get that too. Check out Oxford now with more ways to help your employees and bottom line stay healthier. Contact your broker or visit uhc.com/Oxford to learn more. Oxford Insurance products are underwritten by Oxford Health Insurance Incorporated.
Move and be moved in the Mazda CX-5, the smart choice for those who expect more. With standard iActive all-wheel drive and advanced safety, there's more to a Mazda. Celebrate the More to Move You winter sales event and lease the Mazda CX-5 for $229 a month. Visit your local Mazda dealer or MazdaUSA.com.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya Guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
I'm New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin. Every year, too many lives are lost in alcohol or drug-related crashes. These are preventable tragedies, and it's time to take a stand. Let's make New Jersey's roads safer for everyone. We are all counting on you.
Quality is very important here at the North Pole. You see, I check my list once, twice, all done.
Well, Santa, quality's important to us at Nissan, too. We actually test every model thousands of times. There's the frame twist test, shaker test, corrosion test, drive load test, tug-of-war test, towing test, off-roading test, practical strength test, splash test, corrugated road test, chassis dynamics test, water intrusion test, extreme heat test, extreme cold test, rough road test, jump test, curb impact test. And physical parts tests.
Save on J.D. Power's #1 mainstream brand in new vehicle quality at the Nissan year-end event. Get 0% APR on the 2026 Road Platinum, 2025 Murano or Pathfinder for well-qualified buyers. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Example, 0 down payment, 60 months financing at $1,667 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to NMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 12/1/25.
Get the scuttlebutt on your favorite team, the Fan, on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Oh, you like this one?
I love this one.
BT and Sal back on. Wow. I mean, didn't you know AC/DC? Yeah, exactly. AC/DC, Metallica. BT and Sal back on the Fan. Let's listen to more from Hal Steimer. We got a bunch more still here? Okay, we got a bunch more from Hal. Let's see if he says anything that gets us excited about the Yankees coming up. Here's more.
Now, you mentioned consistently having one of the highest payrolls. Do you feel like that money has been spent well enough in recent years?
Well, the intent was certainly there, and the research and the homework was certainly there. I can't complain about that. You're always looking hindsight, right? Hindsight's 20/20. Certainly, some things haven't worked out, but it's not for not doing the research and the homework and everything else. Again, the team on paper, on the back of the baseball cards, is one thing, and then how they perform, particularly in the postseason, which is a bit of a crapshoot, is two different things. And, you got to wait to find out the second. But make sure on the first that, you're getting guys that should make sense and that should perform in this market and should fill these areas of needs, whatever the need is.
Hal, thanks for taking the time. Going back to the salary cap thing, you had mentioned in the past that you'd consider supporting a cap depending on what the cap is and it being contingent on there being a floor. Has your thinking changed on that?
Well, we're going to talk about hypotheticals. You know how much I love those. But yes, I really wouldn't have anything to add. I would consider, I would consider supporting a cap only if it's accompanied by a floor. And of course, it depends what the number is. I mean, I wish I had more for you, man. But I mean, that's where I'm at right now. But that is something on the record, yes, that I've said.
But I mean, so when you talk about a floor, do you have an idea in mind? Like, what's a number that would sound good to you in terms of a floor?
Something that would be reasonable enough that it would improve competitive balance significantly in this sport, which many fans already argue is not good enough. I think we've made strides the last 10 years in some of the things we've done, but as an industry, probably not near where we need to be. At least that's what the majority of the fans believe. And there's a number of ways to attack that problem, including some we've done in the past.
Al, you mentioned it was a 6 to 7 week stretch this summer where the team just didn't play good baseball. That's happened in the past. Last year, you guys were able to recover and make the World Series. Obviously, this year it cost you the division, home field, a bye. What needs to change so you can avoid those summertime, those ruts that you guys seem to have pretty much every season in the last few years?
Yeah, look, again, it wasn't for lack of confidence. It wasn't for lack of working hard. It's a difficult question to ask. There's nothing coaching-wise that I feel we could have done differently. But you know as well as I do, you've been around probably longer than me probably. It's players start to push when they struggle, and then you start chasing bad pitches, and there's just a myriad of things that happen when a team really struggles like that. I don't expect to see that every year. We're too good for that. But you're right. It was bad last year, and it did cost us the division. We could have won one more game and won the division, right? One of the Miami games, for instance. It was frustrating, definitely frustrating. But again, it's not for lack of effort, trying, and optimism, because there's all that in that clubhouse.
Getting back to Chris's question about the Dodgers, are you worried that they're pulling away from the pack? I mean, they've won 3 championships now in 6 years. They're obviously very wealthy. They have a connection to the Japanese market. Is it a concern to you as a rival and as one of the 29 other owners?
Well, I'll just speak for Hal Steinbrenner. Of course, it's a concern. They do have tremendous resources, but they've gotten the job done. That's the big thing. I mean, they played to their potential when they needed to, overcome a lot of injuries this year. But again, got healthy at the right time. I don't know what next year's going to bring, but it's of course it's always a concern anytime I feel that one team is pulling away from the other 29, selfishly pulling away from me. I'm not quite sure I'm convinced of that yet, because so much happens during the course of a baseball season. But all we can do is do the best we can, put the best team together, the best roster together that we can, and again, not have 6-week periods like we had last year. That does us no good.
Can I tell you, that's the first thing that he said that truly bothers me. The start of that, all right? And we probably played 8 or 9 cuts from Hal, and we're pretty much getting what we expected here. But there were 2 things here. First, he was asked about the, maybe misspending some funding and allocating the wrong money to the wrong player, or too much money to the wrong player. And then he was also asked about these summer swoons, right? And which, by the way, happen every single year. And his answer for that, to me, was not really acceptable, because he said, well, some of the misspent funds, it's not because we didn't do our homework or do our research. That's the bare minimum starting point. What?
Not because of lack of effort or trying.
I mean, I almost said what you almost said earlier, the S word. Like, no belief, man. And then when you talk about these summer swoons, he said it wasn't for a lack of working hard. That's job requirement number 1 for a pro athlete, to work hard. And I think that's my biggest disconnect with Hal and his approach as an owner. Now, to be, volatile and combustible, like, is that never going to happen? But, you could be a step more than where you are now, where it shouldn't always be explained away by, hey, we did our due diligence, we did our homework, we worked hard, we played hard, we tried, it just didn't work out. Why not?
Right.
Why didn't it work out?
I want him to be a little less rational.
Why didn't it work out?
Him and the front office and the DON, the Yankee Department of Nerds, they're all saying the same thing. Well, look at it on paper. Like, we have a good team. We won a bunch of games. Yeah, okay, well, the base running needs to get better, although, like, Boone disputed that.
He did. He did say a couple
times. So Hal at least acknowledging that. But, hey, we love our pitching. We got to help the bullpen a little bit. We're pretty good on the infield. Like, we now calls for a little sprinkle of irrational behavior. And it doesn't mean that you got to go like a drunken sailor over the top, but clearly, I don't understand how they could just sit there and watch the same thing over and over and over again and just saying, like, yeah, I mean, we can't have the swoon next year. Well, do something about it. To your point, BT, well, why? Why are we relying on so many young guys? Why haven't the young guys developed to the level that we expect them to develop? Why haven't you gone over the top to compensate for the lack of development with the younger players to bring in big-name players the way that you used to when you were successful back when your father was running things back in 2009? There's a lot of different things the Yankees could do, and instead they just continue to have the blinders on and say they're smarter than everybody else, and the results continue to be the same every year.
Now, I want to react to what they do and not necessarily what they say. I think that's always the smart way to do it, but they've kind of said the same thing for a while, and they've kind of done the same thing for a while, clearly acknowledging that they've gone above and beyond to give Yankee fans a winner, just not above and beyond where they usually have gone. Listen, guys, here's the reality of it. We are getting perilously close to this like my son's generation and then multiple future generations. Pulling up baseballreference.com, putting in Aaron Judge's name and seeing bold and black and italicized everywhere and saying, wow, they never won with this guy?
Right. If there was ever a time to just try it for old time's sake, just go all the way in for a couple of seasons, now is the time to do that. Let's listen to more from Hal here before we break.
The other question is just your thoughts on the job that Aaron Boone is doing. If you had to give him a grade, what would it be?
God, please don't make me repeat myself, Bob. I've been asked this question so many times. He's a good manager at many of the things he has to do. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But he is great at dealing with the players, with his staff, with Cash's people and with Cash, with you guys. And he makes overall good decisions on the field. Right. So, you can't pin this on Aaron Boone, that's for sure. This Toronto series was on the players. It's on the players' shoulders, period. They didn't hit. We had a couple bad starts. And obviously against the Blue Jays, as I've already said, you can't do any of that when they're playing as good as they were playing, entering the playoffs.
Wanted to ask you, Hal, you said you can't name a figure for your projected payroll, but a range. You were at $319, you said, last year. Can you give us a range? Is that the range? I've seen it suggested you want to go down this year. Is that true? And also, I've seen it suggested that your revenues were over 700. So I'm assuming you make a profit. Is that fair as well?
No, it's not fair, actually. So
you take a loss?
Don't want to get into it, but that's not a fair statement or an accurate statement. You need to, everybody wants to talk about revenues. They need to talk about our expenses, including the $100 million expense to the city of New York that we have to pay every February 1st, including the COVID year. So it all stats to add up in a hurry. Nobody spends more money, I don't believe, on player development, scouting, performance science. So these all start to add up, John. And if you want to go look at the revenues, you got to somehow try to figure out the expense side as well. You might be surprised. But that aside, I didn't say every year we do a range, but some years going into the winter meetings, we do talk about a range. But that range has rarely come true, as I found, for all the reasons I already talked about. He's going to bring me anything and everything. And, he and his people have to work harder because that's the way I want it, but that's the way I want it. So we will see what happens and what presents itself trade-wise and free agent-wise.
I kind of like that when he says, they have to work harder, and that's the way I want it because that's the way I want it. So suck it up, basically. But how about the fact that he alluded to the Yankees? You're telling me now they're losing money or not making as much money as we thought?
Well, this is what I read earlier, that Hoke transcribed. Right, okay, right. So, when you hear it, I'm happy. And I figured we would play it, but the thumbnail sketches, and I mean, it's as simple a research as you could possibly do. The Yankees, their most recent valuation is $8 billion. Nobody has a higher valuation. And I could throw in the Dodgers, but I'll look at the Mets. Yanks are $8 billion. Mets are $3.1 billion. The Yankees' revenue generation was $705 million a year ago, and the Mets was right below $450. Massive advantage, Yankees. Now, obviously, I don't know the inner workings of the city deal and the leases and the other side.
I don't think he's lying.
No, I don't think that he's lying. I think that he's understating the amount of profit that they make. I definitely don't think he's lying. I mean, if you listen to that again, the first thing he was like, well, no, I wouldn't. Don't assume that. Come on, Hal. I mean, the safest assumption in the world is that the Yankees are making a profit.
Right, but then the money that they spend, which we could be looking at it just as the major league payroll. But to his point, the Yankees are more involved with scouting and minor league system.
How do we
and all
know?
this.
Where's the data that supports that?
Well,
I'm not saying that they're not very involved. I know that they spend more than the Orioles, and I know that the Mets that was one of the big problems with the Mets for years, and they've changed that a little bit.
Right, but I don't think to the level of the Yankees.
I agree. I think the Yankees operate very much first rate in that regard. But and I'm just throwing out a number. Like, how much can you spend on that? $50 million? There's no way. You got Steinbrenner Field. The Rays just gave you $10 million, Major League Baseball, to let them use the stadium. So whatever operating costs in the minor leagues was largely offset by the $10 million check you got from baseball.
But either way, to me, the fan doesn't want to hear about that.
No, that's the point.
Like, Steve Cohen's not making money. Doesn't matter. He's trying to win.
I think he's making money.
I believe that the Mets were losing money. Now, again, I don't know.
There's always a way. No, I don't want to say fudge the numbers illegally. But there's... Yeah, present things as a lot. Listen, the Mets generated $446 million last year. Their payroll was, what, $360, $370?
Yeah, so, but that's a big league payroll, but you're not talking about everything else.
Understood. So maybe it was a push. Maybe they did lose a few, whatever. But the Yankees are as profitable as the Cowboys, as anybody.
Right. If the Yankees can't make money, then they're all
Back up shop, Minnesota.
BT and Sal, the fan will finish up when we come back.
And Pirates will just take Skeens today. All right. Operating engineers, Local 825 are the men and women who make our region move, whether it's the roads, the bridges, or our favorite team stadium. They build and maintain the critical transportation, water, and energy infrastructure that we all rely on. That's why their advocacy organization, ELEC, the Engineers, the Labor Employer Cooperative, fights for those priorities every day. It's called ELEC, representing these signatory contractors and the hard-working men and women who build New York and New Jersey.
It's Chris McMonagle overnights on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Everyone immediately pivots to the idea that they're going to go sign Bellinger and Tucker, or one of the two. They're clearly going to add an outfielder, that's without question. But to me, we were talking about Bellinger before this move.
Listen to CMAC on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Andrew Perloff with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Down 21-0, the Dallas Cowboys were on the brink of disaster against the Eagles. They came back to win 24-21, and now they're 5-5-1 with at least a chance to make the playoffs. They might have to win 5 of their last 6 to reach a postseason, but the way they're playing now, especially with that revamped defense, they have to at least feel they have a shot, and that is something. I'm Andrew Perloff.
Serving my country required sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms, the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Together, let's drive a Paramus Chevrolet for just $247 a month and $51.50 to a delivery. Lease a brand new Equinox 40 Wagon LT with 2-wheel drive for 36 months. Buying, enjoy 0.0% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. Visit ParamusChevrolet.com today.
Sunday no longer a fun day? We've got specialists for that. Walking the dog, unleash, knee pain? We've got specialists for that. With 45 Castle Connolly top doctors, Orland & Cohen specialists are considered among the best in the nation by their peers, which can mean a better outcome for you. From Staten Island to Southampton, our network is open 7 days a week, so you can feel better, faster. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
You know by now that you can count on Sundays all season long. And this Thanksgiving, you can count on seconds with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. This year's main course features Dak Prescott and the Cowboys hosting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-269-3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
Are you fans? It's football season, so make sure you catch all of the Scarlet Knights gridiron action this season on WFAN. Scarlet Knights football is presented by RWJ Barnabas Health, the official healthcare provider of Rutgers Athletics. Let's be healthy together.
It's the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event. So don't just hang your own lights. Venture out and look for the northern lights. Drink cocoa on the beach. Or be a drive-by karaoke caroler. Because every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. So you can take holidays to places they've never been. See your local Kia dealer or visit kia.com to learn more. Kia, movement that inspires.
See Kia dealer for warranty details. Event ends 12/1/25.
Boomer here. If you love cooking as much as I do, you got to listen up. The Chef IQ Mini Oven is your all-in-one kitchen hero. It bakes, broils, air fries, dehydrates, slow cooks, toasts, and more. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a color touchscreen, a soft closed door. It even syncs with the Chef IQ app, and pair it with the IQ Sense thermometer for perfect USDA safe temps every single time you cook. So why not grab yours right now at chefiq.com. Use my name, code word Boomer, to save 30% at checkout.
Call of the day with Brendan Tierney and Sal Licata on The Fan.
Today's Call of the Day brought to you by Edison Heating and Cooling. They are New Jersey's heating experts, and we have dual callers of the day, David Stearns, who we heard from earlier, and Hal Steinbrenner. Let's continue listening to Hal.
Is it likely you won't go down? You'll probably stay the same or go up then?
I think, would it be ideal if I went down? Of course. But does that mean that's going to happen? Of course not. Again, we want to field a team we know can win a championship, or we believe can win a championship. We don't know anything in that regards as far as the future. But yeah, so it just hasn't changed, John, which is why, payrolls have gone up probably every year. Doesn't mean they won't go slightly down one year and then up the year after that. I mean, it all depends on what's out there and what the possibilities are, and how much I feel, we're able or we need to pull the trigger on those possibilities.
Hal, I understand the Yankees will take good players wherever they can find them, right? But do you think it's important to the organization to have Japanese representation on its roster? And is that something you plan on pursuing this offseason?
Well, I'm not going to talk about who's available or not available in an offseason. Do I feel it would be good to have Japanese representation? Of course. We have in the past. We were very much in on Yamamoto, as you know. It did not work out. There's some inherent advantages to a Japanese player being on the West Coast versus the Northeast. But it wasn't for a lack of trying, I can assure you of that. So, but representation of Japanese players, yes, that's an important thing. And again, that's why we tried so hard to get Yamamoto and others.
Is that at all business motivated? Again, you want great players on the field, but there's certain perks that come with that off the field as well.
I think the Japanese population in this country would love to see a Japanese player play for the New York Yankees. What that translates into, from my perspective, I don't know, nor can I quantify it. But certainly, it's a big, baseball, as you know, better than me, is king of Japan, and a lot of Japanese fans here in the U.S. would love to see that. And we've tried. And we will continue to try.
Hey, Hal, I just want to make sure I get this right. I cover baseball, not finances. But you had mentioned that it wasn't necessarily accurate to say that you guys made a revenue this year. I'm just trying to get this right. Did you guys say that you guys didn't make money this season?
I'm not going to get into our finances. I simply said what he implied was not correct.
Hal, a couple of weeks ago, Aaron Boone made a comment that he believed that the Yankees were the least analytical team when it came to in-game decisions in the AL East. Just considering how much money you guys pour into that side of the operation, would that be okay with you if that were true?
Well, I don't know what the question was, nor did I hear the answer. But I will tell you, we do put a lot of money into analytics, and Aaron Boone is great at absorbing everything that comes his way. I assume what he's talking about is there are some teams in baseball, our division or not, where every decision that's made in the dugout during the course of a game is based on analytics more than anything else, and that's not necessarily the case with us. Aaron's got leeway to make the decision however he wants to make it. But he's got all the information. That's the important thing. That's what we spend the money on to get him that information, along with the pro scouting information, talking about the other side. He gets it all, and what he does in the dugout is what he does in the dugout. And there are some teams that are different than that.
All right, there you have it. So that was everything from Hal. In summation, I don't feel like much is going to change here. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not going to make a big move or two, but I mean, he's just not the changes that need to be made. I don't think Hal's got the either stomach for it or believes that those type of changes need to be made. Therefore, Cashman and the Yankee DON, Department of Nerds, can just do the same thing and hope that the results are different. You even heard Hal reference it multiple times, BT. Well, the Blue Jays, when they play like that, you know what? Tough to beat. Like, it's almost like, well, they won't get that lucky again. Dodgers, same thing. Well, the Dodgers reached their... That won't happen again. It's all these other teams just maxed out, and the Yankees were unfortunate that was the case, as opposed to the Yankees being the aggressor here. I can't feel totally encouraged from what I heard from Hal today.
I mean, listen, if they won the World Series 3 years ago and we've had a little randomness since, it's a little easier to digest. I think that's just a very, very, very easy way. Now, maybe he doesn't even really truly feel that. Maybe just by saying that, it allows him to gloss over it, and behind closed doors, he's a little more belligerent or hold guys more accountable and gets after it a little bit more. I don't know. I just think that, to think that, and I've really never thought this, would be pleasantly stunned, but I don't think it's going to happen. We're not going to wake up and Tucker's going to sign 10 years, $4 billion with the Yankees. Not happening. I don't see that happening at all. And by the way, if that did happen.
The Yankees loved him a year ago. What's the holdup?
Well, then probably the money. That's probably the answer. And then, they also have to get Bellinger. So I think it's either or. If they did do that, well, then everything that Hal just said today that we're kind of questioning goes out the window. Like, if they sign Tucker, it doesn't matter how we just interpreted that press conference. You sign Tucker, Tucker. It's a pretty massive swing.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I just don't think that they will.
Well, but that alone also doesn't make them World Series contenders. They still have to figure out the other pieces. Okay, let's say you sign Tucker. In all likelihood, that's going to mean the end of Bellinger unless you bring him back to play first base, which then can help some things out. But I'm assuming that it's one or the other. And if it's Tucker, okay, now you have a legitimate player. He's a good player. You put him in left field. He could do a lot of the little things. But now you're making up for the loss of Bellinger. So where did you exactly get better? You kind of got to add Bellinger, and then on top of it,
something you've been saying for a while. Listen, the other thing too is the Mets made a trade. Now they still have more to do here. Obviously, it's the first move that I think is going to result in a really good offseason. We'll say. I said it till I'm blue in the face. That's what I think is going to happen. And it took guts to get rid of Nimmo. How about we wake up in 2 days or tonight or in 5 days and we see that Stanton was traded?
Bingo.
I mean, could it maybe be time to do something a little radical here? If the Mets, now they didn't say this because they want to be respectful to Nimmo, as they should. Something was a little bit off with the Mets. Now, I don't think there's anything off with Stanton in terms of how he's perceived, but in terms of by his teammates, he's revered. But in terms of just logistically, really compromising the Yankees lineup that they could trot out on a day in and day out basis, trade Stanton. Let's start with something like that.
Right. The Yankees have needed to make a move like that. See, everybody always thinks, well, a trade should make you better immediately. The Nimmo trade made the Mets better at second base, but also created a vacancy in the outfield that the next move should be able to make them better. So trading Stanton just in isolation doesn't, well, how are you going to get better with trading Stanton? Because it's now opening up some wiggle room here to where you can move Ben Rice to DH and maybe go get a better first baseman or whatever, outfielder or third baseman. You can reconstruct the roster differently than what you've been doing, where it clearly doesn't work, relying on a guy, even though Stanton at his peak is as good a hitter as there is in the game at his peak, he's never at his peak all year long. He's always hurt. He can't play the field. He can't run the base. Like, there's a million things wrong with having him on your ball club. So addition by subtraction in that particular case.
And if you want to get Judge off his feet, and Judge is now 27, and Stanton's healthy, when he is, well, guess what? You can't do it. You're going to have to run Judge out to the outfield. See, I don't know this. This would fascinate me. I would love to absolutely know the 100% truth. So the Mets make this move. Is there, I don't want to say a wink and a nod. That's a little bit pushing it past what I think could have happened. But when you trade Nimmo, you obviously know you have to upgrade left field.
Yeah.
That's a given. So, and Stearns is connected with whomever he's connected with. Hey, would you be open to trading as Quan? Hey, does Tucker like New York? Hey, is Bellinger, maybe okay with leaving the Yankees? You'd have to think that some intel, right, on some, to what level, I don't know.
Or Buxton in Minnesota. It doesn't have to just be a left field. It could be a center fielder, and then they use one of the younger guys in left. But,
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they're anticipating they're going to be able to acquire an outfielder. Of course.
I think it's more than anticipation, though. Like, that's kind of like maybe an ounce of intel, and then, you've got to obviously read the tea leaves. That, to me, would be, that's what the great teams do. You do something, and because you kind of know something else is coming.
Well, we started with the Giants. Let's close with the Giants. The Giants drive of the game brought to you by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety, reminding you to make the right choice. Don't drive impaired. For me, BT, I'm going to go with the touchdown reception for Jameis Winston. That was the last points that the Giants scored, unfortunately. But at the time, 5-minute drive gives them a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and it was a crazy play call. How do you say his name? Oshevsky?
Oh, yeah.
Oshevsky.
Stepping up in the pocket.
Yeah, throwing a touchdown pass to Jameis, and who had the game on TV? They didn't even realize that it was Winston who received it at first.
Because they didn't look like he gave a little spin, a little shove.
He broke a tackle getting in. That was a fun drive for the Giants. Unfortunately, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to end.
I could co-sign that. I did not think he was going to get in those final 5 yards. And by the way, film section, I think that was a linebacker who got hung up back there.
Yeah.
He's going to get roasted. It's like he got beat up by Vic or even Fields as an athlete, or, Lamar Jackson sliced job. Jameis Winston, who was pretty non-athletic.
Yeah, but he's not just a regular quarterback with those moves, breaking a tackle, and that's some fragile guy getting in. Anyways, a great play. That was the Giants' drive of the game. All right, that does it for us. Thanks to Dove. Thanks to Hafa, as always. Thanks to everybody who listened and called. We appreciate each and every one of you. Back again tomorrow, 10 a.m. Evan and Tiki, they're coming up next.
The home of the NFL on Westwood One is WFAN. The Panthers are heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 8:15 tonight on AM 660.
Right down the middle and good.
Monday Night Football is on the Fan, 101.9 FM, and always streaming on the Odyssey app.
This Thanksgiving, FanDuel is introducing a brand new way to build a parlay together, and it's called Pass the Leg. And here's how it works. Start a group build and add your pick, then pass it on to your friends so they can add theirs. When everyone's done, you each lock in a group parlay with your own funds, because football is better when it's played and bet together. And to make it even better, everyone gets a 50% profit boost to use on their build. Maybe you'll start your parlay off with the Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown and then pass it on to one of your friends. So grab your crew, start your build, and get in on all the action this Thanksgiving with